Okay, hopefully you're here. This is going to be a different show. If you have any experience with dealing with a pathological liar, someone with mythomania, compulsive liars, someone that's lied their entire life, someone that's whole life is a lie, I'd love you to call in and let's talk about this because and it can be about anything, their entire life or just a portion of their life. And there are some people out there fabricating some incredible lives that are not their lives. But people think they're their lives, but they're not. And even if they're caught, they go on and do it again, usually. Maybe something less. Then it might just be someone that lies about something specific but doesn't change all of the details of who they are, their family, their names, where they were born. But there are the extreme that does that. And if you've ever been the victim of someone like that, if you know someone like that, I'd love for you to call in so we can talk about this. And I put the number in Slack. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about, I'll read your names in a second. I just want to just go through this while we're waiting for someone to call, if someone calls. Okay, so lying is one of the more unsavory parts of the human personality. Little white lies may be relatively harmless, okay, but the habit conceals a larger problem, that of a compulsive or pathological liar. People who lie pathologically and are fundamentally different from the average person who lies to get out of a tight spot or an awkward problem. In fact, most psychologists characterize pathological lying as a mental health disorder. So, pseudologia fantastica, pathological lying, also known as compulsive lying, mythomania, or pseudologia fantastica, is a chronic disorder marked by habitual lying without a clear motive. An article published in the Acta Psychiatrica Scandinavica lists clear indicators of pathological lying. The lies are based in some truth and are realistic. The stories are spun around them and consistent and enduring. The lies are not told for personal profit but do promote a sense of egoism in the liar. They are not delusions. The liar can acknowledge their lies if confronted with the truth. Now, diagnosed pathological lying has proven difficult for psychologists because it can be a symptom of another disorder or a habit picked up from childhood. Often, psychologists look for an underlying cause for the phenomenon and work to address that instead of addressing the mythomania alone. Mental illnesses sometimes related to pathological lying include post-traumatic stress disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and bipolar disorder. The Journal of Youth Violence and Juvenile Justice indicates that glib or superficial charm, narcissism or grandiose self-worth, pathological lying, and conning manipulation in the definition of psychopathy. Many psychopathy checklists include compulsive or pathological lying as an aspect of the disorder. When related, the two are not mutually inclusive. Psychopaths are often compulsive and habitual liars, but not all people who pathologically lie are psychopaths. Psychopaths may lie habitually, but there is a key difference between pathological liars and psychopaths. For one, pathological liars have been shown to exhibit physiological arousal around stress when lying, showing that they feel some guilt about voicing what they know is untrue. That differs from psychopaths who typically exhibit no nervousness or guilty signs, internal or external, and while pathological liars do exhibit a series of hubris, they lack the intrinsic self-development that makes up a large part of their psychopath personality. Some studies indicate a biological correlation between deceitful personalities and neurological makeup. For instance, one study used magnetic resonance imaging or MRIs to compare compulsive liars to both normal and antisocial controls. The results showed that the pathological liars experience up to a 26% increase in prefrontal white matter and up to a 42% reduction in prefrontal gray matter to white matter ratios. White matter helps the brain make quick decisions, while gray matter tempers the brain's impulsivity for wariness. With this study and many others, while they're preliminary, they could help doctors and scientists learn more about the minds of pathological liars in the future. Childhood experiences and pathological lying. Childhood emotional and sexual abuse is often tied to pathological lying behavior. A chaotic home environment also appears to contribute to compulsive lying. One study investigating female and male subjects with pseudologia fantastica found there was thought to be a chaotic home environment in about 30% of these reported cases, with either parent or family member also presenting with a mental disturbance. Munchausen syndrome by proxy and pathological lying. So you might know a pathological liar that's lying about either their children's illnesses or their own illnesses, right? Munchausen syndrome by proxy is a disorder which the caregiver seeks attention through the person in their care by inventing or exaggerating the latter's symptoms. Many caregivers with this disorder demonstrate compulsive lying. One study detected a chronic somatoform disorder or factitious disorder in almost 2/3 of its participants. Half of the total number of mothers also demonstrated pathological lying, in many cases which had started during childhood. While unsavory, it is a mistake to categorize all lying as pathological. A definition designated by Healy in 1915 is still quoted today. It states that the lying must be excessive and chronic to be pathological. It observed that pathological liars indulge in a veritable orgy of lying, and that the action is impulsive and at least partially out of their control. The symptom also needs to be consistent from adolescence to early adulthood to be characterized as mythomania. Most people with the disorder begin altering the truth around their mid-teens, while many diagnoses occur in individuals in their early 20s. Pseudologia fantastica is often a symptom of other illnesses such as borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder. However, there are multiple distinct differences between pseudologia fantastica and antisocial personality disorder. However, there are multiple distinct differences between, individuals with ASPD, antisocial personality disorder, are deceitful for personal profit. While this is often not a factor with people with the pseudologia fantastica, in one study, only half of the subjects with PF were thought to be involved in crime. They were nonviolent in nature and did not recklessly endanger others, but someone with NPD or BPD may. Differentiating these disorders from mythomania is important in diagnosis and treatment. Okay, so if you can call in with any of your experiences with this, that would be great. Anybody that's dealt with a compulsive, pathological liar, Munchausen's by proxy, please call in. Hi, Whisper to Me. Hi, Tina. Dubosc, Isabel. Hi, Nana Patty. Miss Mary, Move Two Scooter. Hello there. Catwoman, Shelly, Samantha, Diane, Newfie, Brandy, Jessica, Twiggy, Muppets and Manilow, Recliner Detective. Nobody's dealt with a liar like this? Nobody's dealt with a pathological liar? Open Minds, Peg, Diane, Catwoman. Oh, thanks, Savvy. VST, Larky, Tracy W, Brenda, Cheryl, Tina, Davita, Patricia, Miss Mary, Jessica, Simone, Tracy W, Newfie I got, Sue W, Miss, I got, let's see, Deborah Ferris, Linda Irby, Linda Uribe, Vintage Gal, Jenny Barnes, Marianne, Gigi, let's see, Suzanne, Nightbot Mode 2, I got Sharp Turns. I wish I could call in because this describes my sister. I finally had to cut ties because she's, so you can call in. If you email me, you can call in. I'll give you the number. Will you want to call in, please? Please call in. Sunflower Brown, hello there, Jerry McKay. When things don't make sense, Lang. I won't call in, but my brother was diagnosed 18 years ago and was a big liar and treated my mother terribly. You should call in, Linda Uribe. I can't call in because I'm really tired. Oh, you can't? Okay. A lie is also a lie when a person refuses to acknowledge or own what the truth is when presented with the facts. They must hold on to their truth by diagnosing the person's feelings. Snow remover, hello there. Lisa H. Lisa H. Deborah Vancouverton, Al's Pals. Sorry, Oliver. No, sorry, I don't mean to. Sorry, Oliver. Keep it kind. Sorry if I'm missing anyone, Sean, because it's been a long day, as Scooter said. A very long day. Nobody wants to call in? Nobody wants to discuss this? Kevin Leonard? Amy Celeste says, my ex used to lie because he said it was easier. But what I'm talking about, what about somebody that lied about their entire life? What about someone that has lied about their entire life? Not just, hi Julie Parrott, someone that has lied about their entire life. My ex was a pathological liar. I mean, their names, multiple name changes, almost like a Dirty John kind of guy. You know what I mean? Or gal. Someone that has lied about everything. Hi, Polarity Gray Lady. I have to do something really quick before I forget what I'm doing here. I know I forgot something. This is fascinating. Hi, Deborah. What about someone whose whole life is a lie? No one's known anybody in their whole life has been a lie? Hi, NH. Your brother-in-law lied about everything. Well, what do you mean, Sharon? He lied about everything. Did he change his name? Did he not list family members? Did he say he was something he not? Did he lie about his education? Did he lie about his family? Did he lie about illnesses? Casey Anthony. But she was still Casey Anthony. Do you see where I'm going with this? She was still Casey Anthony. You still were able to find out who she was. You still were able to link back to her parents. I'm talking about someone whose entire life is a lie. You'll call. Are you in Slack, Rachel? Can you see the number? Because Casey Anthony is a liar, but she didn't reinvent her whole life. She was who she was. If you looked up Casey Anthony, you saw her. I'm talking about somebody that's a total liar. Somebody you can't find, somebody that has no history. I know a man who first told me he was his brother.
Hello?
Hi, who's this?
Hi, Suzanne. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Suzanne.
So fun. Wow. I tried to call in before, but I couldn't get it right. So I'm excited today.
So am I. Do you know a person like this?
Oh my God. I've known a couple. My mom and my son are both pathological liars. But I worked with a guy for like 5 years, and he told everybody the most fantastic lies that his wife had Alzheimer's and was in a home in Seattle and all this stuff, and the whole time his wife was at his home just a few miles from where we all worked, and he had just been abusing her the whole time. But he had a complete whole different story he told everybody. Every aspect of his life that he ever talked about was a complete lie. Every day. It was insane.
Wow. But was his name real?
I think so. I mean, yeah, I think his name is real.
Okay.
But everything, he wound up leaving here and moving to Colorado, and the federal marshals chased him down there and brought him back here to Alaska. I'm in Alaska, for terrible abuse that he inflicted on his wife. And I didn't know that he had lied and lied and lied. When he came back to Alaska, he called me, and I thought we were friends. And then slowly, over through the grapevine, then I started hearing all these things, and all of a sudden, none of his life made sense at all. And it was just a complete fabrication.
Right. Now with the wife that you said that he said had Alzheimer's and was in a home? Is that what you said? Did I hear you correctly?
That was what he told everybody,
right.
But no, she wasn't. She was
right.
at home. She was just a lady. She was his wife at home.
Right, but
she wasn't anywhere. She was a healthy woman. There was nothing wrong with her. He was just lying about having her and treated her terribly.
Okay, so let me ask you something. But was he getting anything like? Was he deriving anything from it besides attention? Maybe was there any benefits for that woman or anything?
Oh no, I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he was stealing any type of benefits or anything through her. No, I don't think so.
And so what happened? Did you say what happened? He was found out eventually?
He was found out, and the federal marshals brought him back, and he did a couple of years in prison.
Okay.
And I just quit taking his phone calls once I figured out that he was such a fantastic, horrible liar.
Okay, now I might have missed something because when somebody came in, so what did he go to prison for? He was embezzling money? Was he doing anything? What was he doing?
No, for the assault that he committed against his wife. He
threw
boiling
the
water
abuse.
in her
Okay,
face.
I am so sorry. Because I missed that because the chimes came in and I missed that. So he was assaulting her where she was injured.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and he hurt her really bad and left the state, but they went and got him, and he came but the whole time there was nothing wrong with her. She was fine at home.
Okay.
I mean, not fine probably, but she never had Alzheimer's. She was never in a home. Nothing that he said about anything, nothing about his kids. He told that his son had died in service in Iraq. Nothing that he said was true.
Okay, I got you now. Okay, so, and he did a few years in prison?
Yep.
Yep. Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Do they know? Did you ever find out when these lies started? Was it his whole life, or was it?
I only knew him for about the 5 years or so that I worked with him. I met him there, and so I really don't know. But my mom is definitely a pathological liar, and I'm 48, and she's been lying like that all 48 of my years for sure. She's a lifelong pathological liar.
Lying about what? Anything or specific things, or for what reason?
My mom?
Yeah.
Oh, she'll lie about everything. She will go to town and come home and tell you that every person that stopped her told her what an adorable, most fantastic, beautiful, kind, darling, tiniest person in the world she is. And everywhere she goes, she gets showered with attention if you believe what she says to you.
Okay, but nothing. I mean, so it's more about her ego or something.
Yeah, but she'll lie about driving race cars and places she's been and things she's done. I mean, she tells tall tales every day, all the time.
Huh. Your ex would change his name and initials around, add addresses, and change the last digit. Rachel, are you calling in?
So what happened? Did you encounter a pathological liar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did.
I missed the first
part. But I
part.
mean, very, very, very elaborate, extremely elaborate, not just little lies, an entire life that was created. So, I'm just wondering if anyone else had some kind of a situation like that ever.
Yeah.
With
such deception, right? I felt really, really
violated, right?
Betrayed. Yeah, totally. When I found out that my friend's name was, we'll call him Mike, and I felt terrible and very betrayed, and I did all kinds of kind of crazy things to deal with it. Like I felt like I needed to wash everything around me, and I really didn't even want anything hiding from me. I started storing all my food in clear containers because I had to think about hiding. I was really mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah, so I'm sorry that happened to you because that really is a big violation.
Yes, it is, and especially when there's like a lot of if they lie about themselves, the illnesses, or just things that take your attention, right?
And there's a lot of intimacy if you build up a friendship or something, and you shared what you thought was a lot of between friends, kind of these a closeness or something, then it really hurts a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, Lisa.
So I just wanted to, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that was what happened to you, and I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing that somebody would go to such lengths and, continue these lies. It's really mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing.
Did Debbie to Scooter? I thought I saw Debbie get in. So there's click, and I tried to get her. I don't know where you are if you were trying to get in, Scooter, because I didn't see you.
Well, hey, I'm going to click out and watch from YouTube, but it was nice to talk to you. Now I know how to call in so I can get in on a craft one day.
Okay. Appreciate your story, and thanks.
You bet. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Okay. So, hey, Lisa. Can you hear? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry about that.
I
was just saying, doesn't it seem like almost everybody has a story like that?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about? I came on kind of.
Yeah, pathological liars. But I'm asking if they know anybody that's really made up their entire, every single detail of their life, basically.
Right.
And I don't know. Has anybody dealt with someone like that?
I met somebody like that once.
Yeah. Every single detail of their life.
Yeah.
And where they're going with it, I think that's one of the hardest things to understand, right? Like, where are they really going with it? Because, let alone how do you know the real person? But,
well, it depends on the extent of.
Yeah, but probably if they said they did it because they sucked at making friends, which is an excuse that I've heard. That nobody liked them if they didn't make stuff up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is,
Wait,
Yeah.
that's a new one.
yeah, so I mean, but
Hi, Robert,
but then
Hi,
people
Anna,
would
Patty.
say, you know, and people did say, what we liked you the way you were. Why did you have to do that? You didn't have to do that, and now look where you've gone, you know? Hi, who's
So,
there?
did you tell the person? that you
Yeah,
knew?
well, yeah, I confronted the person. A few of us did. Who is that? Is that Scooter? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought you were trying to get. Yeah, I don't. You know,
Not the
it was
liar.
my
I'm not
first.
the
I've
liar.
never had anything like that happen before, but
So you actually told the person you knew?
yeah,
did this.
yes, because that someone came to us, and I mean, it was behavior that was, you know, it hurt so many people.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That was. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's
Did other people do that too?
confront, yeah, because it was when you get together and there's like so many people, especially when someone comes to you and you don't believe it and you defend the person and you're like, oh no, no way, you know, and you start suspecting the other person, and then you get together with a whole bunch of these other people and they've all heard variations of the same lie.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, it was an entire life that was made up.
Right.
An entire life, and it's
Yeah.
just it's hellacious. It's hellacious, and I think
It's funny. That's the same thing that happened to me. Isn't that
yeah,
funny?
yeah, I know. Did it happen to you too, Scooter?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But not as bad, you know. Let's just say I wasn't as close to the person.
Yeah, but you were still
It's
pretty.
an awful feeling when you invest
But
so much
still,
into the
yeah.
person.
Yeah, absolutely. So wait till you sent.
So you're not going to tell them because, you know, they're.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
them.
What's your
yeah.
plan?
Yeah, we have someone in our community someone that lied to us and really, really badly. And not only that, there were people that, you know, took this person in, spent time with this person, went away with this person. In fact, the person that told me of this person's lies was a PhD at a university who was this person's teacher. And yet,
A very impressive, what do you call it? Would it be a resume?
CV,
this-
yeah.
Just credibility.
Yeah.
Credibility,
I mean,
really.
Yeah.
It's amazing when I read what all she does. Wow.
And this person essentially took over that woman's life, except her name. She changed the name, but became that professor, basically, but in a different specialty. Well, and only for certain people in a different specialty. And other people that she lied to was maybe religious studies or something else. So, very crazy stuff. I don't have your email there, Rachel, but so just it was nuts, and to the point of here's what. Okay, how did I find out? I found out, but on Christmas Eve, I got a message from this professor. Okay, at first I didn't believe this professor. I was like, who's this professor? This professor's, you know, connected with some other troll in the community or something. Well, no, this professor said, I've got some very, very important information about this person. And I need to speak to you. So I got very confused. I didn't know what was going on. Her and I got on a Zoom immediately. And she said to me that there's something really major. She showed me an email she sent to this person on November 14th, and it said, you know, you've been lying again. If you do not come clean to, and there were a whole bunch of names on there, in a certain amount of time, I'm telling you I'm going to the police this time. You know, something to that effect. And she said the person didn't come clean. And in fact, someone else, kind of from our community, but who had a channel at one time, but really doesn't, was just happening to contact that person. Now, I knew this professor that contacted me because she stayed with the person that lied to me. So I knew she lived in Italy. I knew she had a little boy. I knew what she looked like. I knew her name, you know, so I freaked out because the person she was talking about was Jaybells. And I said, how, she told me Jaybells was not sick. I said, how could she not be sick? She had seizures in front of me. I saw the lump on her back. She talked to doctors in front of me. She made me her healthcare proxy. She made me her next of kin. What she stayed in my house, you know, and she said that this other person, and we'll call her Lisa, but it's not this Lisa. This
Not
other
me,
person,
somebody,
Lisa,
a different one.
who went away with her and went away on a vacation with Jaybells, who contacted the professor, said, I want us all to meet. So I knew Lisa, the other Lisa, somewhat. We all came there, and it was crazy. So there were lies. So the other Lisa said, oh my gosh, I knew she was lying because she said she wrote this song, and the song happened to be written by another person. And Bella Mac too. Bella Mac had Jaybell stay at her house. Yeah, and I told
Yes.
Bella Mac. At first, Bella Mac said, no, this is impossible. I talked to doctors. We all did. She was at my house. She was taking calls for her criminal profiling job, which does not exist. Okay? Does not exist. She's not even a PhD. Okay? Everything was a lie. Her name is a lie. Besides Jaybells, Genevieve Bennett, Jamie Gwynn, all lies. It's all lies. None of it is her. They're all names. She may have registered them, may be a name now, but they're not her real name. So we've been
Guys,
put
it is,
through.
yes, Augie, it is true, 100%.
Let me let my dog out. But we've been through hell. You guys can talk a little bit. I'm just going to let the dog out.
We've been on the phone, what, 11 hours today?
Yes.
On Zoom? And then Jaybells did come on, what, the last, Carolyn,
Oh,
what,
she
the
did?
last 4
I
hours?
I wasn't around for that part. Can
It
you
was
tell us
just
what?
me, Carolyn, and Loopy Lisa at that point.
And then what did
Jaybells came
she
on.
say?
She denied, well, who is this call? I don't know this person.
I hung up after a few hours. I had to go, so I
I
didn't.
know,
Yeah.
but she admitted, yeah, she admitted it.
Yeah, she admitted.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, she admitted all of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
She just won't tell us who she
She
really
won't tell
is.
us who she really
We
is,
can't
though.
get a real name out of her.
Yeah. See, what happened is we all went on a Zoom. Okay, after that professor called me, the real one, then it was Christmas Eve, it was Christmas Day, but we said on the 26th, which was today, at 1 o'clock, we were all going to get on. And all these people in the UK, okay, that she had done this to. And there was 11 of us on the call?
Yeah,
Yeah, 11 of us.
10 or 11. 10
right?
or 11.
And we were on for a long time. Lisa then got off. A few people got off. And then somebody said, you know, we should confront her, whatever. What are we going to do here? So what I did was, by that time, it was only myself and the other Lisa and her partner. And I told, Jaybells was going crazy because she knew something was up. Because
She had a feeling. I knew. Yeah.
yeah, I can't fake things. I'm terrible at faking
No.
anything. So she's calling me because she knows that the professor sent her an email that said, if you don't tell these people, blah, 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 what you did, I'm going to press charges. So then she should have known. But she's trying to get a hold of me on like Christmas. I didn't want to talk to her. So I just said, I'm busy. And she knew something was up. And a very small thing about a package that needed to be returned, she started lying to me about today. And so I got frustrated because I had this meeting coming up, and it was 1 o'clock that we met. And she said, you know, can you just call me and walk me through how to return a package? How to return a package? She just told me she did it already, which was the first lie. Then, you know, it was just nuts. And we were all feeling sick. She was in my home around my kids. My kids thought of her as an aunt. I mean, it was a mourning a relationship of somebody
Lisa H.
you thought was your friend, somebody you thought, first of all, that was dying, okay? How, like Jimmy said, give me all my prayers back. How much I prayed for this person that was dying, how bad we felt, how she, it was insane, okay? And so we got on this, so we got her on, and it was the four of us. And because I said to her,
How did you get her to come on?
well, here's what happened. I had her on here. She was going nuts. I had to tell Bella Mac. I had to tell Bella Mac because Bella Mac has had her in her home.
Yeah.
So I told Bella Mac, and Bella Mac said she's been texting me all day. And I said, Bella, listen to me. Because I was afraid maybe Bella wouldn't believe me, just like I didn't believe the person right away. Because I said, no way. You know, she was with me. She had seizures in front of me. You know, how could this be a lie? This could never be a lie. And so Bella said the same kind of thing. Bella said, I talked to her doctor. I did this. What she was doing, she was using a voice changer. This is crazy, okay? Because Jaybells and I would talk about this stuff in relation to other people that had trolled me, other people that had done this kind of thing, or criminals. And she would say, oh, they have this or they have that, right? And I couldn't believe that you're telling me that this woman has a voice changer on her phone. And there's no husband that died. That guy exists that she said was her husband, but he is alive and well in Italy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a real person. She used a real person to claim that it was her husband who died. The man's alive and well.
He's alive and well.
And that's not the only man that she manipulated and said things about that's really alive and well.
Right. And then the baby, there was no baby. There was no baby.
Well, there weren't, that one didn't really exist, but she lied about.
She said she's had 15 or 16 others, like 15 to this other professor, and that she has twins living in Italy, and that there were numerous babies that were died, and that she told this other professor so many things. And now she's saying, how can I be this PhD and supposedly intelligent woman? I'm sick over how I was taken, but still she's crying because she's mourning this. She took care of this woman too. You see, Jaybells told her she was her next of kin and her medical proxy and all the stuff that she told me, okay? And that she had this very high profile job. Well, where she said she had the profile job, she was a student, not a teacher, okay? So much craziness.
There's so much volume of material of sick lies that it would be difficult to even list everything all at once, right? I mean, it's just endless. And this is only the group of us, right? Our group. We don't know what came before this.
So we found out that she admitted to Scooter and she said, oh, this has happened to me before.
She does it over and over, and she said she knows she's going to do it again, and she wanted help now.
And now she said, I need help. I can't live like this any longer. I can't.
Oh, now I want help.
Yes, exactly. She still won't tell us her real name or where she's really from.
Yeah, she gave us a name, but I doubt it. Yeah, I've looked it up. There's
no, it's not. She's not capable of telling the truth.
I asked her if she was a criminal, because that's what you would think if they don't want to give you any real info. And she said, no, I'm not.
Well, she is really, because she's taking people's money.
Yes.
It's really a racket.
Yes.
It is a racket, really, because although it just involves one person, right? It's like racketeering, but it is systematic, right? You're taking money from people.
Yes, Jay Quinn. Jaybell's the one that sent the drawings. We don't even know if she really did those.
We
right,
don't even
Carol?
know if she really drew those drawings. She made a drawing for someone else that she said she told me it was for me, and she was sending it to me. It was a drawing of Rome, and then yet she gave it to the other Lisa and said that this was a present for them. She went away with that other Lisa and her partner in oh gosh, it was after she stayed with me. It wasn't too long ago. It was on another break from treatment. I think it was, when did she go on that other trip? It wasn't, was it October
Just
maybe?
a couple months ago with
September,
Ruby Lisa.
yeah, September or October, yeah. She went with them away, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Carolyn left her a message to join us, didn't you, Carolyn, on the Zoom?
Yeah,
earlier?
but she was probably asleep.
Got back to you?
I don't. Let me see.
Oh, to join us tonight?
No, well, when we were on that live.
That 11 hours
I would like
from
to,
noon till 11
I would love to be able
p.m.
to talk to her myself. I would like that.
Carolyn, when we got off at was 11 my time, I just went and I've been laying in bed.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were on all day till 11?
All day.
It was 12 o'clock here, noon, and we didn't hang up until 11.
Oh, because I got off like around 4.
Right.
I had to go.
Yeah, and I mean, these are all people in the UK and people that are filing.
And the nicest people, nicest people. All,
Police
you know.
reports are being made, aren't they, in London by her friend? Well.
What?
What is going on? Who's
Wait,
that?
Scooter, I lost you. What'd you say? I can't hear you.
They're saying that police reports being made.
Yes.
From her friend.
From her
friend. She called tonight.
She called because, you see, she didn't think that the professor did not think anyone else was involved. She thought Jaybells was just lying to her. She didn't think that she was telling lies to anyone else. And I don't know. So now she feels terribly, guilty and stupid, and like we all do. There was, well, it wasn't per se money. There was money, and I have every accounting for all of that. The money that was given in a PayPal account. We bought items with it. The items were sent to her, like a crib and diapers and blankets and stuff like that. And then at the end, there was a surplus of like around a little under $400. And a letter went to everyone that donated, because she said it was $18,000 to fly her husband to Italy to be buried. And then she had to come to the United States to get things to bury him and sign papers with a lawyer. So we all decided, it was unanimous, that everyone that donated said, send her the rest of it in a PayPal payment. And so I have accounting for all of that. And yes, I do want to see it prosecuted, because it is a sick thing.
Yes, high 61. Yeah, I think you're right. Sorry about that, Carolyn.
That's all right. So this is, yes, Augie. And, but where to? I don't know what you mean, Rachel. Where to? And to the other professor, the professor was giving her money every single month. And then she tried to justify it by to us by saying that this professor stayed at her house, so like it was part of the rent. I asked the professor, was it part of the rent or anything? No, it wasn't. And she continued to give it to her even when she was back in Italy. And she continued to buy her things. And this scheme was way more elaborate with this professor, because she told us she was in the witness protection program because her family had been annihilated. This is what happened. This is why she, to me, not to the professor, because to the professor, she was her student. Okay? And to me, she was that professor, but not in religious, that professor teaches in like religious studies and something else. She told me she was a professor of, criminology and profiling, all of that. And she specialized in family annihilators, because she said her father killed her whole family. And the reason that we couldn't find any reports about it is because they were in the Orthodox Jewish community, They have their own police force, and that is true. That is true. They will sometimes cover up crimes, but she also said that there was a sex ring around this that was being hidden, and if anyone would find out, she would be killed. And there was one living uncle that was around.
You told me that, yeah.
Yes, and he would kill her if this got out about their family. And so that was why I was unable to find anything about her.
I tried to do that too, because she said she was, she did so much research in the field, and I tried to
and
Google search research, but I couldn't see anything like, because you get inklings along the way. Little, you get doubts and you check things out, and then, but then you.
Moo said that Jaybells did ask her for her address.
And I asked Moo, I said, did you ask any of the Ramblers for money? Because she asked for Moo's email address. See, she would connect with people. So she said to me recently, you know what? Moo told her 9/11 story. Now, previous to this, she's such a private person that she doesn't want to appear here. She doesn't want to talk about this. She doesn't want to talk about her family experience. She doesn't want to write a book about them. She doesn't want to do any of that. But yet she says, I heard Moo tell her 9/11 story, and I want to connect with her because I was in the dorms in Columbia during that time. Well, it turns out that she's not 40 years old. She's 34 years old. Okay? It would be impossible for her to be in the dorms. She admitted tonight she lied. She was not in those dorms. So I said, were you grooming Moo? Were you grooming Moo because you thought Moo had money and Moo would give you money? Is that what you were doing, trying to connect with her on that kind of thing? She said no. Moo never gave her money. The only thing she wanted to send Jaffa cakes to Moo is what she told me. I know, Moo, you can only tell me if that's true or not. Another person she recently wanted to connect with was Kelly Finelli. Again, another New York person. And she said she could connect with Kelly Finelli because Kelly Finelli said that her and her husband went to sleep one night and her husband didn't wake up, Kelly's. And she said she knew exactly how she feels because that's what happened with her husband, Alessandro. And I asked her today, did you email Kelly Finelli? And she said, yes, I did, but I didn't say anything except that I commended her for her bravery for coming on panel. She also told me she was given an assignment, to speak to Chris Watts.
She told me that too.
Yes, and it was very, very confidential. You couldn't
told me
tell
the same thing.
Anyone. And it was supposed to happen in February of 2019.
Yes.
February 2020, when she came here. But because
this past February.
Yeah, because she got sick. First of all, that was, she then was diagnosed with this brain tumor after losing her husband and her son, this brain tumor, and only given a 22% survival rate for 5 years out. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And she was going through the most horrific treatments and it was terrible, right? So she said then they lost their funding for that project. But then she told me, wait a minute, she got some funding back. And she was talking to him on the phone, but I could never tell anyone and I could never discuss it on the show. But she could possibly have me with her when she went to the prison, and I would be in the hotel. At night she would come and she would unload all of this and we would go through everything. And she said, she even talked about, getting me a stipend from the university that she worked with for doing this work. Okay, I mean, it was crazy, she was saying. She also told me she was talking to, and this is where fate stepped in. Sandra Rusak always tells me to pray that the liars are exposed. She says this all the time. Pray the liars are exposed.
Wow.
Well, guess what? She told me she was talking to Frank and Sandra Rusak. So when I connected with Frank and Sandra Rusak, she was scared, right? Absolutely was scared because now she knows I was connecting with them. And not only that, we were becoming close. So she then said you know that they will never be able to speak to you about me because we signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, okay? So she said, even if you ask them about me, they can't discuss it with you. So she was already setting it up that if I asked Sandra Rusak, hey, you know, between you and me, my friend, you know, she's the one that's interviewing Chris Watts over there and how to contact you because you're the victims. And, you know, she went through this elaborate thing. And one day when she was calling, because she was, after this professor sent her this letter, she became increasingly needy of me. And so
Right.
one day while she was keeping me on the phone forever, and I told her I hadn't eaten, you know,
Horrible.
Sandra Rusak called, and she got so upset that I took that call. I could tell she did. And anything that took my attention, she got upset about. So when I would get off a live here, it would not be uncommon for me to go to my phone and have her saying, I don't know if I can continue treatment anymore. I don't think I can go on with this life, but you don't have to call me. I don't want to waste your time. And what do I think? I think my friend is possibly dying. So yes, Carolyn, how selfish can you be? You just stay on the phone with her all night. And if you get 1 hour sleep, you get 1 hour sleep. This is your friend and she might be dying and she has no one else, no one. So I would stay up all night after a live with her. I would, you know, neglect so many other things to take care of her, to talk her through something, to research. She had Jimmy and I spending hours researching doctors and hospitals, and yet she would never follow through on anything. But the kicker is, we had someone come into our chat, someone that is verified, someone that I thought took it as a sign, had a cancer somewhat like what Jaybell said she had, okay? And this woman was the person we were looking for because I was always looking for a survivor of this cancer and a survivor that didn't have an operable tumor. Well, this woman comes into the chat and I checked out her story, everything. And she had a horrific tragedy in her life, but there are, unlike Jaybells, there are news reports to corroborate everything this other woman says. So I said to her, this is a miracle. This is what I told Jaybells. I said, this is a miracle. This is the sign I was asking for from God. This woman is the survivor, because every survivor we found that had a long survival rate had an operable tumor. This woman, she said to me, Carolyn, this is my faith. The doctors don't know how I'm here. I'm not supposed to be here. My tumor is not operable, and yet I'm still here. So I said, would you mind? I have a very good friend. She's all alone. This sweet woman is saying, I wish I could be there for her. I wish I could take care of her. I understand this. I can, you know, tell her about doctors, the whole thing. I think Jaybells is going to be off the, you know, crazy about this. So I said, did you email her? Oh, not yet. I said, did you read her emails? Yes, I'm trying to take it all in. Well, immediately I saw she wasn't excited. She said she was excited, but she wasn't excited about it. Why wasn't she excited about it? Because she wasn't sick. She didn't have a tumor. The same way when I would find doctors, she would always say they told her she couldn't be, she wasn't a candidate, or she didn't want to go there, or she had to come back here first. There was always a reason. Well, here was this woman. So in a sense, this woman with the sign, someone told, I think Scooter said it, maybe it was Ray, that exposing the liars. This woman with this sign, it was a sign that Jaybells was a liar. And, you know, it just brought that to light because she was not at all excited about connecting with that person, which if you found someone that had a tumor just like you did, who's been living 10 years with it, okay, you know, you would come in. So thanks, Robity Bob. But yeah, it's a violation. I mean, the other Lisa who had her in her home and her partner extremely violated. I'm sure Bella Mack is extremely violated having her in her home and having her parents, you know, going out with her. Her mother went out with them to things.
Yeah, Alma, Jaybells admitted to all of it. She'd come on here right now if Carolyn would let her. She'd sit here and say, yes, I did. I'm sorry. And she'd cry. Right, Carolyn?
Mm-hmm.
And that's typically what these people do. They will admit it
She would ask for help. But I
and
want to
ask
get
for
help.
help. Yeah. And say, I really need help and come clean and actually admit it.
Oh, and the other
I'm
thing.
not surprised she admitted it.
The other thing, okay, is that she had another pregnancy. In, what was it, July or August, she called me, and it was very strange. She told me it was a sign from Ray, maybe. Or sign from Ray? What do you mean a sign from Ray? Now, at this point, I'm thinking, was she possibly going to try to make me think that Ray was the father of this baby? That, somehow I didn't know what was going on, okay? But it ends up, she says it was a work colleague. That colleague was on the call today. And
right.
He's not a colleague because these people that were on the call, they're all basically PhDs, PhD students.
What?
What? What happened?
Oh, no, sorry. I just thought maybe.
Oh, they were intelligent people.
I thought maybe she came into the chat for a second, but it wasn't.
Highly intelligent people. So everybody is feeling bad in hindsight. How did we not see this? How did we sit here and take care of her? But all of these people, some of them working for the Department of Justice, or what was she? That other one wasn't she? Didn't she say Department of Justice?
I think
something
so.
like that. These were highly intelligent people. Okay?
Oh, and they're all so nice, you guys. These are the kindest.
I said I think she targets people that have had hardship.
Yeah, and everyone was targeted.
The most empathetic people.
The PhD the teacher that she targeted, and she denied it today. The teacher said she came back and was in her office, and this professor had just had a stillbirth. And so what does Jaybells tell her? Jaybells tells her, I'm falling behind in my classes because my baby died over the Christmas break. And of course, that connected the two of them because this professor is coming off of a stillbirth, and here is someone that just said, my baby died over the Christmas vacation. And then she became very protective of Jaybells and took care of her. And of course, Jaybells had no other family, same type of situation, but she didn't tell her Alessandro was the husband because this woman knew Alessandro. Okay? He was a fling of Jaybells.
Carolyn, Newfie, and I guess everybody else are wanting to know, how did you get in contact with this professor from the University of London?
Okay, I knew her through Jaybells, okay? She would stay, before everything closed down in the country, she stayed at Jaybell's house for, when she would come into London. And then she would go back to Italy. She would come back. Then the pandemic hit and she had to stay in Italy. So I had seen her, but I've never spoken to her. Well, when Loopy Lisa, okay, contacted Sean, that's the professor, she told her, I have a suspicion. I want to know some more about her. Unbeknownst, Sean had sent this letter. See? So now Sean's saying, oh my gosh, she lied to you too? I thought she lied to this many people. Now there's more people that should be on that letter. And then they said, we have to contact Carolyn. And that's how I got contacted.
Now Belly Dancer says she's glad I only sent her half of a shopping cart.
What? Oh,
now Belly Dancer said she's glad I only sent her half of a shopping cart. Hey, we have to laugh. We haven't laughed at all today, not even one time. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about who paid for the flight to New York.
Nobody paid. No, the flight was not paid for by us.
You guys, this would be a great movie. A great book. All those people on there today, and every one of them so nice. Oh my gosh. and all educated and just such kind people. And they were just so worried and didn't know what to do and you could tell they didn't want to hurt her.
Yeah, the professor was crying because she said, I cared for this woman. I'm mourning a person that I thought was there, and I felt the same way. We're mourning a person
I feel that way too.
We thought
really
was someone
do.
else, but she didn't exist. That person did not exist.
It plays with your head, really. It does.
I just found out a couple nights ago. I had, no idea about all this, and I was shocked. But then tonight I started getting mad when we were talking to Jaybells, because you know what? She does not care. I could see that in her. Her eyes totally. Her eyes. Carolyn, did you see the look in her eyes when she would look up?
Yeah. She didn't care.
She didn't care.
Really?
No.
She looked like a different person.
These are
really
some of the people that were on panel.
I wish I could see a recording of that part of your discussion.
Yeah, we do have a recording of it. I don't know where it is. These are some of the people that were on panel with us.
I would like to see that part of it.
3 of them, I think, are from up the bar, right? The one is a bartender.
But he's a PhD with it. Yes, bartender. But listen, that's the guy she said was the father of the baby. Okay. Well, this man doesn't go that way. He's a gay man. So and he didn't give her any goods. So he's not the father of that baby.
Right, Sunflower Brown.
Are you saying that like when you confronted her, like her persona changed?
Well,
I was shocked she even came on. You would think she would feel embarrassed or something. She didn't, and she didn't deny it.
No.
But she was trying to change it around a little bit.
See, she said, Carolyn, after she saw it, please, can you tell me what is going on? Carolyn, please, can you tell me what is going on? Please, I'm worried to death here. Please, can someone speak to me? Please. And I said, I received some unsettling information about you that I need to check out. And her response was, okay. And then she said, what do you need? I said, I was told you fabricated everything. And she said, okay. And then she said, sorry, bit stunned. And I said, well, are you sick with a tumor? Are you working at this university? And she said, the person who has said this won't let me communicate with them. Asked me not to. I haven't been able to explain myself or anything. Will you speak to me? I do understand if you won't. So I said, what's to explain? Do you have a brain tumor? Did you have a baby? Were you married to Alessandro? She says, yes, but I haven't been honest, but that is true, and I want to tell you. And I said, I'll send you a Zoom link. She said, okay. And then she asked if that professor was going to be there because the link was from the university because the professor set up that Zoom. And I said, no, she's not here. She left. And then she came on.
It's unbelievable.
Carolyn was going to tell everyone. She didn't seem embarrassed about it. She just like, oh, yes, And
she doesn't know why she does this, but she's always done this. She's maybe
always
because,
been this way.
And Luby Lisa was saying, you know why? Because we loved you. We loved you for you. Why did you have to make up all this stuff? Why did you have to do this? Why couldn't you just be yourself? Came after and recognized she gave birth still when she cried her eyes out.
Wow.
Went into her mom and
I guess she's used to having these confrontations occasionally in her life, and she's done this before.
That. She said that at the end. She goes, this is how it's been before. I said, oh, so you've had this before. So this will just happen again with other people after us. And she goes, no, because I can't live my life like this anymore. I'm 34 years old. I can't live my life like this anymore.
I have to change.
Which could be a lie.
I need help.
It is a lie.
She said, I need help.
It's a lie.
I need help.
About changing. She doesn't want to change.
No.
And I said, you came in my house. You came around my kids. You did this to us. You don't even care. You don't even care what you did to anybody.
What was her response to that?
I know. I wish I hadn't hurt anyone. And then Lisa said, you've been crying, but there are no tears. There are no tears.
Now, when she first came on, though, she did have tears, right?
Yeah, and I noticed a tear at the end, but she was crying for a long time, and I didn't see tears in, like, the middle.
I know, yeah, because she kept putting her head down. Then when she looked up, they were totally dry. Mm-hmm. And she had that, she would go like this when she was talking, she would have her head down. Did you notice, like this? Mm-hmm. And then she would put her eyes up like this and then down. And when she'd put her eyes up like that, it just freaked me out because that did not look like her.
And I said, you realize all the time you took me away? You took me away probably from time with my son that's not here anymore, because I had to be taking care of you, talking you through things.
That's a good point.
Right? You took me away from that with lies. You took me away from all of that. And you don't even care. And this other woman almost lost her entire relationship. Her partner said, if you don't stop with this woman is sucking your life dry. She won't stop with you, okay? Because this woman she told her, I need you here. You have to come hold my hand. I can't get through this. So this woman's partner said, if you don't stop it with her, I will take our son and leave. Okay, so she was losing her entire relationship. So I said to Jaybells, do you realize you almost made Sian lose her entire family? And she says, I know, I feel terrible. And this woman, Sian, just turned 50, and she said it was her 50th birthday party, and she couldn't even enjoy it because her partner had given the ultimatum. If you don't stop with this woman, that's it. And she said Jaybells was going nuts, texting her over and over and over and over and over again. And she had to hide it. So she said, I had the worst birthday party. I should be enjoying my family, and I had the worst time. And she said, you know what?
She gave up the whole party. She gave up her whole 50th birthday.
She said she got to this point that when Jaybells kept saying, I'm dying and this and that, she got to the point of saying, right? Well, didn't she say that? Well, go ahead and die already because I need to be free of this.
She said that.
Yeah, she said, I felt terrible, but I thought, well, gosh, you've been dying for 4 years. Go ahead and die because I can't take it anymore.
And she loves Jaybell. She still loves
Yeah, she's
Jaybell.
still upset. I said to her, my gosh, you're still upset. I'm so angry at her. I want to take her and shake her. I mean, I am so angry at her. And I said, and here you are, you're still feeling so loving and protective to her that you're feeling, you still haven't realized that's not her.
Guys, it is creepy. What Davida was saying just now that she's got goosebumps, that's how I was the other night. When they started telling me, that something, that Jaybells wasn't who she is. And Carolyn looked absolutely shocked. And then
I didn't even believe it. Even today or yesterday, I said to Loopy Lisa, oh my gosh, do we know, this is real? Could somebody be doing this about her? Because I was still, going back, like, how could this be fake? Her and I shared so much stuff. And, it's just crazy.
She's so intelligent.
And I said, what are you doing with your life? You said it was this sickness that stopped you from having a partner, having a child. You were worried that you would never have a child because she told us she was 40 years old. And of course, going through these treatments for a non-curative brain tumor, she would always say that. She would call me up and she goes, I saw the doctor today. They said it's non-curative. And I said, well, why could you say that? There's always hope. We'll find someone else. We'll find the doctor at Duke. We'll find this doctor. Oh, you'll look up that treatment. You'll look that up. She spent hours making Jimmy and I look up stuff, like not making us. We did it because we wanted to find her hope. We wanted to find her hope. It's terrible. The time that we wasted, the time we took away from our family looking for this. And then she never followed through on it.
Drained you and drained that Sean lady. And
Jimmy told her, don't go back to the UK. Don't go back. Carolyn will take you to Duke. Carolyn will take you to the Mayo Clinic. She'll go with you. And she
Carolyn
said,
and I was saying we were going to fly to.
yeah, Lisa said she was going to
England.
fly to London to get her and bring her back here.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
We
crazy.
talked about that someday, like if she needed us to do that, or when it became like we would be able to do that, if she needed us at any point, we were seriously talking about doing that.
And then she had this pregnancy, right? And she said, "I don't want you to think bad of me. I have this pregnancy, but it was somebody from work, and it wasn't planned, and I'm pregnant." And she said, "I just ordered like 3 tests, and I'm pregnant." And then she said she was really happy about it, but she kept saying it was a sign from Ray. I don't know why it was a sign from Ray.
Why did she, I mean, that's so cruel.
So I'm thinking like, well, they're never going to let her have this baby, right? Because she's got this tremendous brain tumor and she needs these treatments she can't put on hold. So then she said, well, you'll come to the doctor and you'll talk to the doctor. Of course, she says, oh, I called you and you weren't available. And the doctor, said this. And, well, the doctor's not too happy, but I had an ultrasound and it showed the baby. And I said, did you get a picture? No. And then Patty, no. She said, no. I said, did you get a picture of the baby? No, I don't want to believe it until it happens. Everything always goes bad. She told me before she was diagnosed with the brain tumor, there were embryos in New York City. And she asked if I would go through the pregnancy with her. She said she scheduled the fertility appointment with these embryos. And we had 6 chances at this. And then if that failed, we could hire a surrogate to carry them.
What about the genetic engineering?
Oh, she told the professor she was a genetically engineered baby who was engineered to be a genius. And she was born first in Palestine, then in Israel. Now it's in Leeds, UK, as she says is the real truth. That now she says she never grew up in New York, but she had cousins here and she visited them often. She offered an apartment to Lisa's kids and my kids that she said she owned in Manhattan. She showed us the apartment. Now she says that's an apartment she lived in as a child. That's a lie. She broke down in tears when she was here because she said that Alessandro had ordered flowers for
that was unbelievable.
For Valentine's Day
well,
ahead of time. Yeah, and they were there, and she broke down, and she showed me this arrangement, and she told the doorman to put it in the lobby. She told me Alessandro had ordered her Mother's Day gift, and it was waiting for her at the apartment. And the reason she didn't want to stay at the apartment and wanted to stay with me, there was too many memories there. She didn't want to stay there.
Yeah, Bella Mac, you just found out today, didn't you?
Yeah, Bella Mac said, I wait, like the same thing, that you can't believe it.
Okay, Gigi. Yeah, I was just laying there in bed.
Did you want to call in, Bella? I know you're not in Slack. If you want to call in, send me an email. But there is an Alessandro, Augie, but he was a fling of hers. There is an Alessandro. I've seen his information. I've seen him. I've seen videos of him. But he was a fling of hers, not her husband.
She didn't tell us the genetic engineering.
She didn't tell us
story,
about the genetic
but
engineering.
other people
she told
did.
The other people. Some of the other people. Like we were saying, who was told, she told this professor she also had a heart transplant and she had breast cancer. And
I thought I heard 2 heart transplants.
And a bone, something with the bone
marrow transplant.
And yeah. About over a year and a half, I've been friends with her.
They want to know how she ended up at your house.
She ended up at my house because first she had said she was coming over in June, right after her husband and baby died, because she had to go to Manhattan and pick stuff up. That day I happened to be on a field trip. And I said to her, what if I didn't have the field trip? Because you never came then, did you? She said, no. After that, she said she was going to come over in August. And then she said September. Then she said October. Then she said, what would it be like if I came over at Thanksgiving? Would that be an intrusion on you? I said, no, come on over. By this time, she had the brain, she had been diagnosed with the brain tumor. Then she said January she was going to come, but then it changed to February. She wanted me to take her to this resort that she went to as a child, this defunct resort. Well, we found out now she never went to that resort. She claimed she kept a brochure of it. Okay, this is not a place that you would have a brochure from. This is an obscure resort for a certain clientele. Nothing is ringing true with it. And so I said, do you have Munchausen syndrome? And she said, I don't know. Is there a cure for that?
She's playing dumb with that. She knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, all the time, Carolyn, that you've spent with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is? Feeling like this person is
help her.
dying and has no one else. That's what made me spend time with her. Also, you know what I mean? Knowing that.
Wide her mouth, or
And then
however.
also I developed what?
I'm saying hi to
Oh,
what? I'm so glad to see her. Flighter Mouse House.
Who?
Flighter Mouse House.
Is that Kazbat's name?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
and like also I became close to her as a friend, and I confided in her, and we talked a lot. Especially like sometimes after I got off the chat, I would get on the phone, and we would video chat for a while. And, I was saying to Carolyn, especially more recently, I would spend time with her. So Carolyn, it would take some of the burden off Carolyn, because I knew that she had her hands full. So it's kind of like it's like a web. It's like she pulls everyone in because of everyone else.
Right, and
One
then she
person
made all those different
Trust
people.
her, then you trust her a little more, because a person that you trusts her. So and then that person has a lot on their plate, so you want to relieve a little bit of their burden, so you do a little more. It's like she just pulls you in like a
Yeah, and
storm almost pulls in people. Like you get dragged in,
Right, and then she made all these other people up. Okay, with me, it was a dog walker who was her. See, this dog walker was actually modeled after her, because she took the life of the professor, and she then made the dog walker her, a teaching assistant and student. And
right, she swapped.
She made this name up, Beatrice Mercier, and she made an email up for this woman. And this woman gave me a blow-by-blow of all of her operations. She was in the hospital with her. She was in the hospital when she had the baby. She was in the hospital afterwards. She's the one that discovered her collapsed on the sidewalk. She's the one that, did all of this stuff for her. This woman, Beatrice Mercier, did not even exist. And Jaybells admitted that. She was created by Jaybells, and she was that. So, of course, she validated everything that Jaybell said, that she is my professor,
right.
She has been my mentor, she has paid for my PhD program, she has taken me under her wing. I would be lost without Dr. Bennett and all of this stuff. Okay? She did the same thing to the other professor, where she said she was in the witness protection program, and she had these cops, the police, that protected Jaybells, contacting the professor for years, telling her certain things and things that she needed to do. It was such a farce. And then she had the medical professionals she had called me and these other people was done through a voice changer.
I mean, to go to the extent of a voice changer is really extensive, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's a big deal. To go that far.
Mm-hmm. They told me about she had this professional tell me about the baby's brain coming through the skull, every minute detail of how the baby died, every detail.
It's so sacrilegious to talk about things like this because there's so many people that have these problems in real life, and to just randomly throw around lies like this about people, real life things and then like lay your head on the pillow at night and go to sleep and be okay with that. Like this is a serious thing that really was perpetrated on everybody. It really is. Putting aside money, putting aside everything else, right? What?
She just took advantage of all you good people. She just really did. I didn't get that close to her. She started reaching out to me once Carolyn's son passed.
Right.
And started wanting me to speak with her and all this and that. And I did a few times, but there was just red flags. I don't know. I just had a weird feeling.
I did too, but it's funny, even though I did.
Yeah, I didn't want to insult Carolyn.
Right.
I know how
right.
He was so wrapped up in her.
But that's what but that's what that other professor said. All the other people, what the professor said, there were little things, together. You hear a little thing and it's out. But of course she had a brain tumor, so you forgive something that she might have forgotten or something. But they said, because that professor was so into her, they said, this professor is so intelligent and such a, so I think it's the same thing for me. And now everybody saw like tiny little things. But again, if I saw something, it was, well, she has a brain tumor. Of course, maybe she didn't remember that or this, that. But she was very good about what her stories were, so detailed. And yes, Kay Miller, yes.
Who knows what the story is before this? And before that.
Oh, yeah, right. I know.
How did you guys end
Absolutely.
off
See what Deborah, wait, I want to point out one thing. Deborah Vancouverden says, let's not make this untrust each other. That is really important because I said, I yelled, right. Scooter heard me yell at her. I yelled at her today. I mean, I really yelled at her today because I said, you know what you did and you don't care. You took a community here that grew, a community here that was a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And what you did is you're going to knock it down because people are going to say, see, you can't trust people. See, people will do this to you. So that when the real people come in and the real people need help, what you did is going to make them not get help. And it's going to make people not trust other people. And you delivered a blow to this community and you don't care. You don't care is what I said. And I yelled it at her. And you know what? She goes like this, oh, please don't stop helping people. You're so good at that. And I said, it's not me. It's not me. It's what your actions are going to do. So I think we have to realize that. And like Deborah Vancouverden, don't let this evil win. Because if we start to not care about each other, or then this evil wins.
I'm not changing myself. I'm not changing myself for a person who's evil. I'm not changing myself for anyone. I never did that in my life, and I'm not doing it now. I am not changing myself. I'm not.
I'm not changing myself.
I'll never change myself.
Second person now, for sure, on YouTube here that I liked and trusted. She's the second one now, and that's why it's just life experience,
right? But there's been so many other people in my life that
there's so many good people
I did trust, and they were. There's so many other good people that outweigh one bad person. You can't go by that because there's too much goodness there. You can't live your life by assuming that people are bad.
No, it's not her name, Catwoman. We don't know what her name is. She won't tell
So
us.
we can't change who we are because one evil person victimized all of us. We can't do that. Maybe, all right, be a little more careful, but no, I'm not changing myself.
Yes,
Because then the
Lori,
person
yes.
wins.
Mm-hmm.
The person takes something from you. She already took enough.
Yeah, Giada says, Carolyn, we have to do this, not let her win. Deborah Vancouver did. It will
She
affect
can't win.
people, but we know most people are not like this.
That's true. Because this world wouldn't still be around if most people were like this. There's definitely more good, kind people in the world than not. You know?
Absolutely.
Now, the one thing
Just
is,
be
here's
a
what
little
I'll
more
say.
careful, though.
Here's what I'll say about Jaybells. About
Patricia
anybody
said
else,
she
like,
wasn't,
okay,
but-
Scooter knows, I know Scooter's name. If I put in Scooter's name anywhere, first of all, I know Scooter's husband. I can see her family, okay? I see Lisa's family, her husband. What was with Jaybells was she had no, because the story she made, she had no family, right? And of course, I couldn't find any information on anything she said because it was the witness protection program. She was swept under the rug. And would I ever trust anything like that again? Never, never. If I can't tell who a person is, and
That's
every
it.
other person in my life, like Lisa, I send stuff to Lisa's house. I know who she is. I've seen her family. I've met her. Even like you guys, they're you know, the ones that
There's
I'm
a
close to,
tangible life
there's
there.
something there. There's something about you that shows who you are. So, but that's the thing. Don't ever come to me in the witness protection program
That's
or anything
right.
like that. Because if
That's
I
right.
can't
It's
find,
not gonna happen
if I
again.
can't find credible evidence of who you are, then I will not get
Right.
involved in any
Because
way.
we're not going to be stupid either.
So, thank you, Ali Whites, for becoming a Sergeant Rambler.
Oh, sassy Darcy. You're such a sweetie.
What'd she say?
She said she has tears dripping down her nose.
Oh. Oh, I have pictures of her. Yeah, I met her in person, Liz.
So did Lisa G.
So did Lisa D and her husband, and so did Kazbat, and so did Bella Mack, and
Yeah, remember it was like the last day she was going to be there.
Mhm.
We came.
yeah,
Because, you think somebody's got limited time.
yeah,
And we've had hardships in the cancer world before, my husband and I. We're extra sensitive to people that are going through that fight, and we try to give to other people that are in that situation, kind of like I don't know. It's been close to us, so we went a little out of our way to do that. But she does pick people that
Oh,
have
thanks, Jerry.
gone through hardships, because those are the most empathetic people, the most sensitive people, the most willing to give. And they are real experts at doing that.
Nanette, even if she came in under a new name, which I don't think she will, what's it going to get her? She wanted real friendship. She wanted people on the phone with her. She wanted people talking to her. She's not going to get that under a new name. As a viewer, that's not going to give her what she wants.
I wonder if she has it. Well, she does have parents. She said she didn't, that they were,
Right.
it was the murder-suicide thing, but she does seem to have parents.
Yeah, and
So
quite
that's
a
a
few
big
siblings
lie.
now.
Tell us who they are.
Mhm.
We got how many different names about her parents, Carolyn?
Oh, yeah, many different, and then finally we all got exasperated at the end and we said, forget it. You're never going to tell, because it was, what was it, 10 hours we were on there?
11.
11 hours. You are never going to tell us the truth. Why are we wasting our time? You've done all this to us and you won't even tell the truth. And then she said, fine, I was born in Leeds, UK. After, Palestine and
Before
Israel.
that,
But I
it
don't
was,
buy that
Israel,
either. I don't buy it because her
Um,
accent is not appropriate for that.
Polish and Hasidic Jew part.
Yeah, she was a
half and
Hasidic
half.
Jew, an Orthodox Hasidic Jew. But then she says, I said, but you showed me a picture. You were wearing freaking Levi's. Hasidic Jews do not wear Levi's.
Never.
The girls do not wear them. Well, when I asked her that before, she told me that her father, who was allowing SA of her, bribed her with the Levi's and the Converse sneakers. Okay? And that's a fake wildlife. That's a fake wildlife.
Yes. Yeah. I just saw that.
Yeah. She told me that her father bribed her because of the SA, and that's why she was wearing the Levi's. Today, she said she was born an Orthodox Hasidic Jew, but she was wearing the Levi's because by that time, now she says 4 years old. I have the picture of her. She's 2 or 3 years old. She said, and guess what? She's holding a pineapple, and it's her. You could see the face is her, and she says,
"It is her."
This is what she said to me. Isn't this a sign that I'm holding a pineapple at 2 years old? Okay, and you were then the pine. This is we're destined to meet, and she takes something like that. But I won't let that discredit me meeting with Sandra Rusak and Rosemarie D'Alessandro and saying that's destined because of one bad apple like this. I'm not going to. Okay? I believe she was exposed, and that woman that sent that email, that was a sign. It was a sign that she was a fraud. And like someone else said to me, Ray is getting these people to come to light. And I believe all this. And then Sandra Rusak, like I said, says you just say a prayer that all the liars will be exposed. They will be exposed, all their lies. And then, yes, that's true as well. So, yeah, hi, Lacey Alice. I hope you're doing well. But you can't let it make you hate all people or say you're not going to give people your time or your compassion. But this is a person that told me she was in the witness protection program. So, I mean, I let certain things go because I thought, who would lie about this? That's what I said to her. What kind of person are you that you would lie about having cancer, that you would lie about having a baby that died? And I said, and then you told this professor you had what, 15 babies? 15 babies that died? It's the professor can't count how many babies died.
Hidden? That's got to be a troll, right, Carolyn?
Yeah, yes.
And
I got to find out what Gina Marshall said about me.
Yeah, I went back. I didn't see. I couldn't find it.
Because I got a headache from all this.
I know. You were on a long time.
Yeah.
And then to go through. I wish I could have been there to be involved, to just see, and confront her myself. But I'm glad you guys did though.
Who's Gina Marshall?
I'm glad.
Did you say something?
I don't know. I'm trying to find her.
Where do you see that?
I did not find it.
Oh, that was it. Oh.
Hey, I'm not saying anything that isn't true. Oh, wait.
She said she's going to call in.
She says, I think Scooter was just intimidated and doesn't have the inner strength to stand up to a barrage. Weak people cave. It has nothing to do with you at all. But remember, you have other women behind you. What is she talking about?
I don't know. But Gina Marshall just said, I will call in.
Well, call in. Go for it.
Just said it. I don't know. Some people.
Trust me, I stand up when need be.
Yeah.
I don't right at the moment. I'm always listening. I take things in
you
before
can take
I
somebody out to the Grand Union just as easily as I can.
Right. I try to always,
You're just diplomatic, but
sometimes yeah. Oh, I got kind of rough with her tonight. You can ask Carolyn.
People weren't there to see what was transpiring. I don't know why anybody would judge what anybody's reaction would be if they weren't there.
Call in, Gina Marshall.
Who's this?
Call in. Let's see how tough you are.
Scooter's no slouch in that department, I'm telling you.
Hi, who's this?
It's Mark. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, I was ready to start yelling at you, Mert.
Oh, no,
it's
don't
Mert?
do that. Hey, listen, I'm sorry about what happened. Just awful.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I was going to tell you something similar happened years ago. It didn't really affect me, but I had a class with a girl in college, and later on in the summer, this guy shows up at this park where we played ball, and I kept thinking, God, that guy looks familiar. Well, come to find out, it wasn't a guy after all. It was this girl that I had this class with. But she was making herself in to be a guy and was telling him her name was Tony and it was Tammy. And let me tell you, she messed with a whole lot of young girls. I mean, she ended up getting run out of town, and about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years later, I saw her on one of those like Maury Povich shows or something. Some other people may have seen it. It was back in the 90s, and she was still doing the same thing and pretending to be a guy when she wasn't. And she would go after these real young girls. And anyway, that was just my story. I thought I'd tell you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, Carolyn, did you ask Jaybells if she was a guy?
Yes.
I thought so.
The reason I did that is because when I asked about the Levi's and being a Hasidic Jew, I said, you would not be wearing Levi's. And she said, well, you don't know the whole story. She made something to me sound like she was going to tell me that she transitioned or something. I just felt it. That's why I wanted to ask her that.
I love you too, Danielle C. and Augie and Utah and Lori Beth.
Everyone is so sweet.
Everyone here, Nana Patty and all you guys.
Nana T, Tracy. It's just too many people to even mention. Right. Everybody's been so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Is this the same lady that
for all your kind words, everyone.
What are you talking about, Gina Marshall? Carolyn was upset that I wasn't standing up for her. When did she say that?
Standing up for her? When?
Gina Marshall's, I think, stirring the pot.
Why is she talking about in the Chris Watts group? Oh, come on. Is that what you're talking about, Gina?
Facebook, and I had stood up for her. She hadn't seen it.
That was tongue in cheek. You guys will have to look.
Yeah, she was being sarcastic.
Oh my
but I had already stood up for her.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And I always will stand up for her as long as she's my friend, and I don't plan on that changing anytime soon. Hopefully never.
I'm being watching.
Knock on wood.
Hi, Tina.
Carolyn, is that the same lady that when she was in the hospital was having you talk to the nurses and stuff?
Yes, and the nurses were her. Yes.
And she made you next of kin.
And she made me next of kin in her medical proxy, and she got Jimmy and I to say that if she became medically incapacitated, that we would not let them basically pull the plug, and we would keep fighting for her, and that's what we would do, right? And I used to think she used to go over things over and over. I kind of think she was bipolar too, because I've seen a few manic episodes lately where she sounded like she had 15,000 cups of coffee, and she said it was the steroids, but she kept repeating the same thing. And I'm saying, how is this very intelligent woman sounding like this? And it's like sounding like a child that needs constant validation. Like, remember when we were blah, 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 we were at your house, it was easy. I think she was trying to fight to feel like I was a good con. You thought that we really had a relationship. She wanted validation of that. And constant validation of so many things that, oh, you will be my medical proxy, right? You will always act in my best interest. You will always fight for me, right, Carolyn? You will always fight for me, it was constant asking me the question over and over and over again. And I would say, oh, because she might be losing her mind, because she would say, she even told Jimmy and I, listen to this one, that she was crying one day saying that they thought she was going into some type of vascular dementia. And that if she had vascular dementia, they were going to discontinue her treatment as a cancer patient because it was, again, non-curative. And if she had vascular dementia, and she made us look up this vascular dementia. Yeah. And then when she was having all these seizures slightly before she came out, which I couldn't believe she pulled out of, it was like a miracle. Jimmy was telling me now recently she started that again, and she would say, I can't feel the one side of my body, it's drooping. And she'd say, can you get on a Zoom with me? And she would make her face somehow droop on one side. And then I'd say, well, where's your right hand? Watch this. Can you move your right hand? And she says, yes, I can. Watch. She would take her left hand, grab the right hand, and physically move it like this and go, see, I can move it. I said, no, Jaybells, you're moving it with your left hand. And she goes, I am. And then she would have her hand like this, okay? And I would say, can you make a fist? And she goes, oh yeah, sure, there. And I said, but you're not making a fist. And she goes, I'm not. And I said, no, you're not. And then I said, could you move your right leg? Oh yes. And she would take her left leg and pick up her right leg and say, look, I'm moving it. And I'd say, well, you can't feel that? And, you know, Jimmy and I are looking at each other because we're thinking, like, she's gone. She's gone. Like, she's not going to pull out of this. And then she would say that, oh, well, she talked to the hospital staff and they said that she was just tired from the move and it was fatigue. And I'm thinking, like, this is not fatigue. They're not telling her this. And Jimmy's looking it up and he says, Carolyn, he's trying to prepare me. He's like, she's in the end stages of brain cancer. She's in the end stages. She's going to die very soon. And I would say, I don't think you're being truthful for me with the doctors because I thought her condition was much more advanced than she was telling me. And she would say, no, I'm not. No, it's a fine, you know. She also did things like this. Earlier in the year, I would always say, whatever I say, have you eaten? No, I haven't eaten in I don't know the last time I ate. She would make it sound like she didn't know how to handle her chemotherapy drugs and she was handling them wrong, and that maybe she got the dog sick and she was supposed to be using gloves, but she couldn't remember to put the gloves on to take the chemotherapy drugs. And then, okay, this was another thing she did. I said, did you eat? She said, no. I said, you need to get yourself something to eat. So we were on a Zoom. So she gets a yogurt, you know, it was like a little yogurt. This is the little yogurt we're joking. I'd say this is the yogurt, okay? And this is the spoon that has a little top on it. And she was going like this. It won't let me in. And at the time, she seemed so childlike. I felt so sad for her because she said exactly that, it won't let me in. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, I felt very protective of her, like a little child. You know, it won't let me in. And I said, you have to peel the paper off. I have to peel the paper off? How? And I said, look, if there's a little foot, and I had to tell her that, okay? And then she would have these seizures, and when she would have these seizures, her writing would go all her words were joined. There was no spaces. And I would say, did you have, I know you also have big yogurt, did you have a seizure? And she would say yes. And then a lot of times, this is very cruel what she did to me here. And today I said to her, this was very cruel. Why would you do this all the time? And she said, what did she say, Scooter? She almost wanted to hear it again, that the baby died and her husband died or something. What? She would say, something like this. Yes, I had a seizure. Where is Alessandro? I need him. And I'd say, what month do you think it is? And she said, May. It's May. That, of course, the month that happened. And I said, it's not May, you know, it's November, or it's December. Oh my gosh, well, where is my baby? Where is my baby? And I would have to tell her, and this was often right before I had to come on a live. That's what I would say to you guys. You don't know what is going on, okay? Because she was putting me through the worst thing that I had to keep telling her again, that her husband and her baby died over and over and over again because she would forget. Because sometimes during a live, I would get a message that said, let me say, Kim Miller, did you send it under a different name? She said that where's my husband, where's my baby? Then some days she would come back from a treatment and she would say, they gave me, I don't know, a CAT scan today. Do you think that could hurt the baby? And I'd say, what are you talking about? She'd say, the baby. And then we'd have to go through the whole thing again. And I asked her, I said, why did you keep doing that? You just like to put me through that? You just took pleasure in putting me through that pain? and why? And she said, well, I don't know why I did it. I did it because maybe I needed to hear it or so. Like, she wanted to hear this elaborate scheme, I guess, that I was believing.
Yes, Pitbull Sleuth. She's the one that stayed at Carolyn's house for 2 weeks in February.
You like the attention.
She's back here to get her husband's ashes to bury. Or no,
no. She had to get certain things because she said he converted to Judaism, and that she had to get certain things that he wanted to be buried with, and she had to go to the rabbi, and she had to go to. She had me calling funeral homes in New York City. She had me doing all kinds of things.
And that resort she had you take her to, that's not far from you.
Yes.
She still wouldn't admit today. She said, she still kept saying, I had a brochure for that. I had a brochure and I saw that and I always had wanted to go there.
And I almost got frostbite that day going there. Yeah. Yeah. And then she even
I don't know how everybody reacts, but I've had seizures before.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't come out of it. I mean, when you first come out of it, you're a little like confused, like what happened, because you don't remember the seizures at all. But you don't forget like your whole life or nothing. I mean, it takes you a few minutes to come out of it.
I didn't ignore the red flags.
And nothing like what you're explaining.
Boy, this is.
It was. I think it's a different story. There were. No, I didn't have red flags in the beginning like that. No, I didn't, because she said she had medical personnel calling me. There were so many things, okay? There were PhDs. They were all fooled, Kay Miller. So if you're trying to insult me, okay, please stop it. Please stop it.
Yeah, no insulting Carolyn. She's got a good heart.
I did not ignore the red flags. No, she didn't.
Who was the medical people she had calling? Were they in on it with her too?
No, they weren't medical people. She had used a voice changer and she had 10 different cell phones.
Oh my God.
She's already said that she will go on and do this, that she needs help, so she won't do it again. And she said she's been doing it. She's been doing it over and over in the past. She admits to it.
Wow, that's messed up.
She can't really do it. She can't do it right now because she can't get out of the house right now. I guess what? Because of the restrictions?
She admitted that she has 10 different cell phones?
They got them when they cleaned out her house. They saw them all, and then she admitted it. She said that some of them were Sean's and some of them were this other person, and no, they weren't used for that, but the other people said, yeah, they were used for that.
She's got voice changers.
Wow.
I mean, she's the whole deal. I mean,
right.
She's the real deal. The real scam.
Jeez. That's crazy.
No, that was real, Lisa H. That was real. About all the mods writing something for that card. Oh, did you ever get that yet, Carolyn?
Kay Miller is still keeping up with, go back to the beginning, blah, blah, blah.
Why would a brilliant scientist need money? No, she wasn't asking. She never asked for money. She never asked anyone for money. You got it wrong, Kay Miller. You have it wrong. She never asked anyone for money. You're wrong. She didn't have any supplies for the baby. She didn't even ask for that. She said she went into labor. She didn't have any supplies.
But see, people like that can get money even if they're not directly asking for it. Not saying like you, Carolyn, because you didn't give her money, but I'm saying other people did.
Well, like that Sean, the one
Sean
a lot of money.
But Sean even said, that's the professor, that she never gave her, she never asked for money. She would say things and Sean would offer. And
that's what they do. They don't directly ask, but they manipulate people into doing it. They make themselves needy enough, and a good person feels bad, and
then why did she do it? Attention. Attention. She said she did it because she could not make friends otherwise. That's what she said. She couldn't make friends otherwise. And meanwhile, there were 11 of us on there that she was friends with us. 11 of us, okay? all good people, and she could have been friends if she was. There was no reason to make this all up.
I love you too, Heart Made Wise. Somebody just said this, and I totally agree with them. Where is it? Jenny Barnes says, Rachel Rose, the end game is love, friendship, and belonging. She is an extremely damaged, lonely child. I think that's a good part of it right there.
Yes,
Definitely
Bella
help.
Mac said, where is it? She has never asked for money, but she will happily let you pay for everything. And yes, say stuff and I offer no more. Yeah, she will. She will let you pay for something if you want to buy her something.
Right.
Yes, she will let you do that. She'll tell you you don't have to or whatever. But, oh, thank
Right.
you. Or yeah.
Deb on the Move says, how has she supported herself and has money to fly to the U.S.?
There's a certain person who she says is a family member that this professor has seen the deposits in her account, and she says it's a family member. She will not tell us who it is. She says that she's supported because of the abuse that she went under and them trying to hide it. She said she wouldn't say whether it was her father or her uncle or whoever.
But they said she doesn't work.
She
She
doesn't
doesn't have a
work.
job.
Flighter Mouse House, I've been saying hi to you. I don't know if you saw me, but
She's got a big job being 20 different people. This is crazy. I'm going to bed, ladies. It was good
Okay.
talking to you.
All right. Goodbye, Merritt.
I'm sorry all this has happened. That's horrible. Y'all have a good night.
good night, Mert.
Good night.
She lives in the UK, Peg.
Good night, Mert.
Did she
No,
fly
she
here?
left, but I didn't
Yes,
get
she
to say
flew.
good
Yes,
night.
she flew here in February.
We'll be right back.
Hang on a minute. Hold on, I can't see. Sorry, because we're getting messages that those of us that
Yeah,
are just,
people from that group.
yeah, we have a group message from all the people that were taken advantage of.
And they all still love her.
Oh, Sean wants to come on.
Oh, really?
Can we? Yeah. Let's get her a
Oh,
link.
that'd be great.
Yeah. How do we get her a link? Do you have the number to put in there, Scooter? Can you get that from your phone? Put that number that's in Slack, because I don't have Slack on my phone.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. I hope.
All right. Let me see.
Yes, I can do it. I can do it.
Okay. She said last night she was born in Leeds. Someone said that, yeah, and there are no grandparents here in Italy. She's going to come on. This is the professor that that called me. Okay, the one that she for almost 5 years.
Well, I'll give her the same link I called on, right?
Yeah,
Just
yep.
join web meeting,
Yep.
Zoom meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and try. Yes, Linda, that's right. The reason we went and had the baby shower is because her husband died. She went into labor and had this baby and didn't have one thing in the house. And I said, how is she going to come home? She has no family. She has nobody. She doesn't have a diaper. So we wanted to do something nice for her. So we had supplies. That's what we got her sent to the house. It wasn't about money that she was asking for, because to me, she had money. She had a multi-million-dollar apartment in Manhattan. She had 2 homes in Italy. She had a house, an apartment in the UK. She was a professor making a good salary. Her husband, she told me she got his full salary for over a year and a half. She had medical insurance. She didn't need money. It was never about money like that. It was about more like attention. She wanted attention. Right. She kept saying we were her family.
More than one of them want to come on.
You are my family. You are my family. Let anybody that wants to come on. The people
a couple
from
of the
today.
People. Jess Hayden wants to come on.
Let her come on.
And Sean.
Yeah.
I just put the number in there, guys.
Right.
I did it.
Yes, Sean is the first one, Mona, for like 4 years, almost 5 years.
I feel like I'm real sophisticated right now. I got that right in there.
Well, you know, they've already filed a fraud on her. Sean just filed something because there. She'll tell you.
One of them just said, thanks. I think only Sean wanted to come on. I'm still in my pajamas.
Oh,
Join the club.
no, Augie, you can easily research the person coming on. Here.
I'm taking a bow. I did it.
Yay.
Well, Sean's this big professor, you know. Boy, those articles she writes.
Yeah,
I don't
you
even
can
understand
find everything
the
about her
titles.
and her picture and everything. Sean, are you there? I don't know where she is. There she is.
Kevin Leonard, calm down. You just sent a phone number.
Sean?
Hi.
Hi.
No.
I'm just hitting my microphone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, your microphone.
Yes, Sharon, she is the professor.
Yes, and you can look up Sean. She is a real person, Sian Hawthorne. And you're at what university is it?
Cookies. What's the matter, Nooks?
And when you read what her degrees are and articles and that, very, very impressive.
I can't give you any cookies.
We can't
Say
hear
hi
you.
to everyone. Say hello. Make everybody smile.
Sean, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Everybody smile.
A little bit, okay, but it sounds like it's delayed.
Thanks, Mona.
Hold on, I'll show them something. I'll show them. Okay, here you guys. Here's the link to who this is, okay? Here's the link, you guys, if you want to see. Okay?
Make everyone smile. Hmm? Say hi to everyone. Go ahead.
You
Say
hear me now?
hi.
Is that better?
Good boy.
Everybody's excited to see you, Sean. They're all welcoming you.
Okay, so they want to know how you found out the truth, because she knew something was up. She had her real name, well, not what her real name. I think maybe the first name change on the university paperwork. And
Correct. Just sorry, I'm still getting myself set up. Sorry.
okay. And then she told her in November that she was she had somebody say that she flatlined and that she was in the hospital and having I don't know if she was having a heart transplant or something. And Sean paid somebody to go to her house and ring the doorbell. And they said Jaybells answered as right as rain while she was telling Sean she was in the hospital getting a heart transplant or something. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is Loopy Lisa coming in.
And put your butt in the screen.
Okay. Hi. Okay. Hopefully that's working now. Is that working, Sean?
I think so. Can you
Good.
hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Good.
So I don't know if you just want to give a brief summary of how long you knew her and just for the people.
Okay. I don't really know where to begin because it's just been so
I know,
much. I met her, I've now figured out, the January of 2016. And she was a student, a master's student in my department. I didn't teach her at that point, but I was assigned to her as her personal advisor. So she came to me in that January telling me that her son had died, the baby had died over the Christmas break, that he'd been born in August and was premature, and that he had died. And so she was worried about her coursework, and I was very sympathetic. I think I shed a couple of tears because I too had lost a baby, and I just really felt for her. And really from then on, I began to support her. She also claimed at that point to be dissociative and to have PTSD. And I would see her dissociating. She would do this kind of thing with her fingers and her eyes would flicker. So I thought it was the case. I'd never really had any experience with it. Anyway, I began to get more and more involved with her, and this more story began to come out about how she'd been very abused by her family, by her husband. She was a Hasidic Jew, as far as I knew. She lived in a place in London where a lot of Hasidic Jews live. And she would always claim to be triggered by them. So she would go into these dissociative states whenever she would see them, which of course was all the time. And then, I began to speak to her doctors on the phone, a Scottish doctor called Jenny and her husband Ben, both doctors. And, she began to have all of these kind of health crises. And so one time I flew over to London to care for her. It was, I think, in the summer of that year. So it must have been summer of 2016. And I was just tidying up her apartment and sorting through her rubbish for recycling. And in this bag, I found these receipts that had, I think, her signature on. I can't really remember if it was that or not, but it was on a date when I thought that she was in hospital having surgery. So I just kept it to myself. I stayed for the rest of the week looking after her. I told my family what I had discovered, and I got on the plane. And then when I was traveling home, I live in Italy. When I was traveling home, I just messaged the doctor, who I thought was the doctor, a different phone number, Ben, because by then Jenny, his wife, had committed suicide. So Genevieve had a habit of killing off people who I feel ridiculous about. I came really close to these people. I was really fond of them. I was really horrified when this happened to Jenny. And then I sent an email. Then a message to this Ben, who I said, I've discovered some very serious lies. And he wrote back saying, oh, can you please tell me what these are? I really need to know. And I was like, no, when I get home, let's get on the phone and I'll tell you. Anyway, I then, of course, realized that Ben must be Genevieve. And so I wrote to Genevieve saying, I know you've been lying. You're also Ben, aren't you? And she said, yes. So I cut off contact with her at that point. A few months later, it must have been in the winter of that year, maybe in the beginning of the next year, she got back in touch, very apologetic, said she'd been going through therapy to really try and understand why she had done what she'd done. I arranged to meet her in London when I was flying in for work, just to talk it all through. And at that point, she told me that she had had a brain tumor and that it had been removed, that was really the cause of all her lying. That what she had told me was actually true, but that it hadn't happened when I thought it was happening, which was simultaneously with the time that I knew her, rather that it had happened in the past. and that she had also just been diagnosed with a new brain tumor and that it was terminal, that they had given her about 1.5 years to live. So I began supporting her again, fool that I am, and it became completely overwhelming. It has overwhelmed my life for just years, and just, you know, since then really it got more and more complicated. The police, she began to tell me that she'd gone to the police and reported all of the things that had happened to her, i.e. that she had been basically used as a prostitute by her family, that she had been sexually abused as a child by many different people, by her brother, by her father, by other Jewish men, by men that were politicians and so on, and that she had had many children that had all been taken away from her for the purposes of trafficking these children. In the meantime, we got her onto a trial, so I thought, for this cancer with a clinic in Switzerland, in Lucerne. I think it was Lucerne. And I began to talk to the doctors there, and we began to tell them the story of what had happened to her, and they got, I thought, more and more involved. And then I also began to communicate a lot with the police. I used to sit Genevieve down and we used to record her memories of her abuse, which were apparently all flooding back at this point. You know, she was claiming that she'd had a complete memory block on all of these. And so I began to be regularly in contact with the police and with these doctors, sometimes by phone. So, you know, I was talking to a doctor with a very high-pitched, squeaky voice with a very, very thick French accent. It was difficult to understand her. I talked to Richard Allen, who was the policeman, I thought, who was in charge of her case. The phone calls were always quite difficult to understand, difficult to hear. And I commented on this a couple of times, and they said, oh, well, for security purposes, we're using a voice decoder or something like that. So there was always an answer to every kind of question that I asked. It was very fluent, very, you know, straightforward. So anyway, I then got her back to the university where I work to complete her to get onto a PhD program. I was going to supervise her. She said it was her dying wish that she wanted to do this PhD. So I was like, of course, I'll help you. So I got her on, but then because she hadn't completed her master's program, she was no longer allowed to carry on with the PhD. So then I got her on to an MA program that I convened. She didn't finish that, but in the meantime, she managed to get back on the PhD program. And then she had done no work. Every time work was due, she would suddenly have a major health crisis. She was constantly having seizures by this point. In the last year, she's had a real kind of so-called personality change, which I kept being told by the doctors would happen. Really aggressive, you know, constantly on at me, really kind of screaming and shouting a lot. And I kept being told off for having any reaction to this. I was told to be nothing but gentle and loving with her. I kept being, you know, just made to feel like I was a really bad person for not going to London every time she had a crisis. You know, this is when I'm also trying to do my job, which is very intense, you know, very long hours job. I have a son who's also had a lot of difficulties lately. And I just felt like I couldn't give everything the attention that it needed. My partner had gotten incredibly angry with me, really kind of saw through her and kept trying to tell me that she was lying, and I just couldn't see it. Kept feeling really anxious that were I to try and do anything to prove that she was a liar, that I would get into trouble with the police, because I was told that really if I spoke about her case, or said any of the details about her, that I could actually go to jail. So I really never spoke to anyone about what was going on with her. I really kept her secret. And then on the 14th of November, she had another one of her kind of storms at me, and I just couldn't give it the attention that it needed. So she went off to bed in a huff. And then about 15 minutes later, I got my email from Richard Allen on this Proton Swiss email account, telling me that she had a wristband that had flatlined. And I got into complete panic, thinking I had caused something to happen to her by not giving her attention. And he called the emergency services. They went round. They even spoke to me on her WhatsApp, which was quite common practice. You know, I used to speak to nurses and doctors on her WhatsApp whenever she was in hospital. And then I was told that she'd had a major heart attack. She was rushed to hospital. She was going to have surgery. So I was up all night, pacing up and down, really worried, waiting for news. And I got an email from the police officer, and it just had a couple of phrases that would just seem to me to be very peculiar to Genevieve. And that just kind of set off some alarm bells. So I went and spoke to my partner, and he got on Reddit and talked to a few of his friends in London. He's Italian. And we found someone willing to go to her house in London and to ring the doorbell, pretending to be someone there to buy something off a website called Gumtree, which is a, you know, selling stuff website, and to video it. And he, and I'd also, in the meantime, arranged with the police to take her dog away to look after her dog while she was in hospital. So the dog wasn't supposed to be there. And then this chap rang the doorbell. Genevieve opened it. You can hear her very clearly in the video. And the dog was barking in the background. So I thought, okay, now I finally have proof that she has been lying. I also have proof, therefore, that the police don't exist, that it has been her. I just carried on the facade for the rest of the day, just kind of thinking through what I was going to do. So, you know, I kept asking her how hospital was, what was the ward like that she was on. And so she was very much, you know, just going along with that. And then they got her home, apparently, that evening, you know, miraculous recovery. This was very common. And then I stayed on her with Zoom the whole night to make sure she was okay. I used to do that almost every night. Just make sure she wasn't having seizures or not breathing or things like that. And then the next day, a nurse was supposed to come around that Richard Allen, this policeman, had arranged for her. And the nurse got on WhatsApp to me, nurse being Genevieve, but she called herself Kitty, saying that Genevieve was not being cooperative. Could I help? So I asked Genevieve to help. Just playing along to cooperate. And then Genevieve got really angry with me for not taking seriously how traumatic she finds having strangers or nurses or whatever in her house. And so I just said to her, well, you know, Richard is paying a lot of money for this nursing, he doesn't have a lot of money. So can you please just cooperate? This is to keep you safe. And she kind of went off at me. And I just said, well, she then said that she had cooperated. So I said, thank you. And at that point, I just blocked her, her phone number, and I sent her an email telling her that I knew that she had been lying, that she hadn't had a heart attack, and that she had to do several things if I wasn't going to go to the police. This was because I thought really it was just me. And I basically just wanted her out of my life at this point. I didn't really want to deal with her. But I did say to her that what she'd done was a crime. She had extorted money out of me. I think I've estimated I've spent around £20,000 on her, helping her with her rent, buying her food, buying her dog food, buying her pet insurance, helping with her bills, paying for her trips to visit me, buying her, you know, paying for cabs, paying for drinks. I mean, just so many things. My parents gave her nearly £4,000 to help pay for her PhD degree. And so on and so forth. So I said to her that she had to start paying the money back. I would give her a calendar year to do that. She could pay it in installments. I said that she had to tell people that I thought she had lied to. She had to withdraw from her PhD program, that she was never to contact me again. So I got one email back from her saying she understood that she wasn't going to cause me any trouble and she would do as I asked. I then discovered that she hadn't told anyone, because they began to contact me when they found out that I had broken off contact with her. And from there, the whole thing kind of snowballed, and and Lisa had also been having her suspicions, so she got in contact with me. I didn't really know how to get in touch with Carolyn, but I had no idea how to get in touch with Lisa. So it was very good that she contacted me. And at that point, everyone knew. And so we've been all talking since then, finding out that there were completely different stories given to each of us. But what I think remained common was that Genevieve was incredibly demanding and overwhelming, and just a very destructive person who really preys on people who are kind and compassionate. And that's my story in a nutshell.
Right. And you had said, the one thing you had said, Sean, is that you almost wanted her to die because it was so draining, right? You said you had that feeling like, just come on.
I just wanted it to end somehow.
Yeah. That's how I
got to that point where I
was
desperate.
That's how I felt, because about 2 weeks before, because when you did the thing November, that's when she went full on, hardcore press on me, because she just didn't have you then. So then she became just so unbelievably needy. And I said to my husband, I am going to have a nervous breakdown. I feel terrible, but I can't deal with it anymore. She doesn't understand that I haven't even eaten all day. And I'll say to her, I haven't even eaten. And normally she would say, go on and eat. She would not get off the phone. She needed something all the time. And I said, I don't know what to do here, but I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. And I feel bad because she's my friend and she's not doing well and she might be dying. And so I shouldn't be selfish like this, but I can't handle it. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I totally know that feeling. It was just very, very desperate and overwhelming and selfish, so selfish. I turned 50 this year, and on my 50th birthday, she staged another heart attack just to get my attention away from my family again. She just couldn't let it go. I'm so angry with her. The thing, the time that she took, I don't really actually care about the money. I care about the time that she took away from the people that are really my family, that I really love and really need, they needed me and I wasn't there for them.
Yes, the Catwoman, Jaybells is Genevieve, yes. Yep. And so then...
Yes, I first knew her as Jane Gwynn, and then she changed her name to Genevieve Eliza Bennett. And I was told that was because of protecting her identity.
Yeah, she was showing us forms and saying, you helped her change her identity. And that was, she was lying. We confronted her after you all left. We cut her on and she admitted it because I said, I have information that I have to check out. I had to remove you as a moderator and everything because I have information that you fabricated everything. And she just said, okay. So she said, okay. And then she said, well, the woman that's reported this to you, I didn't even say your name. She goes, she's blocked me from everything. So will you give me a chance to explain this? And I said, I want to know, do you have a tumor? And I want to know if you had a baby that died and a husband named Alessandro. And she said, yes, but I need to explain it to you. So she came on the Zoom and she admitted, all of this was a lie. She does have that scar she keeps pointing to from that tumor she had removed, and she couldn't find it today. Like she had a hard time finding it today. And she said, I have that scar. She's tried to show me that scar many times. And I've seen a scar there. And so, but do I know that that's exactly what it's from? No, but she had, a tumor removed that was non-cancerous. And she still says that, Bella Max said she saw her with that apparatus and holes in her head and like this big thing around her head. And she said, well, she had that from another procedure. And so I don't know whether she put it on and wore it to Bella Max's house or something. I don't know what she did at that point. But she carried on with
I saw her once with two little scars. Or not scars, just kind of wounds once. So, there are things like that always make me think, oh, it's true.
Right.
So what, she's still pretending that she's got a brain tumor?
Well, she was saying something like she has a slow growing brain tumor and she has to continually be monitored. I said, but You don't have a terminal brain tumor, correct? You're not in treatment at the Macmillan Center and all of this stuff. You're not taking chemotherapy drugs, correct? No, she's not. So, and I just, I went a little nuts on her and just said, I'm so angry with you. You took a community here and you preyed on it. You preyed on people that cared, and it's just, I said, I can't even believe you did this. And she said, I need help. I need help. I don't want to do this. And then she said, this is the way it always ends. I said, so it always ends. You've done this to other people. It's been like this. You'll do it again. No, I can't. I'm 34 years old. I can't do this anymore. I need help. I don't want to live like this anymore. Where do I go for help? And then I said, do you have Munchausen's? And she said, I don't know what. She pretended like she didn't know what that was. And I told her, what a drain she was on everyone, and why was she doing this? And then Lisa, who's there, Loopy Lisa, are you there? She's
on mute.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. Yes,
right.
I am.
She was telling her, like, we loved you, and, you could have been a friend. You didn't have to go through this stuff. And she said she did it because she wanted, what'd she say, Lisa? She couldn't make friends otherwise?
Yes, exactly that.
And Lisa had her at her house for how long did you guys go away?
Oh, we took her to Cornwall, so she came to the house. She was actually in my house for about 3 days, and we were in Cornwall together for about 5 days. So, yeah, quite a long time that we spent in her company and had her in the house, yeah.
And she had a seizure right on the phone. Well, I was on the phone with her.
You were on the phone, yes.
In front of Lisa. And Lisa, you're an EMT, I think, right?
And you were on the phone at the time, and all of a sudden she just flung her phone across the room and then just slid down in her chair. So of course I tried to see what was going on, and then I spoke to you, didn't I? Afterwards.
Yeah, you said, Carolyn, she's having a seizure, or your Nick got on the phone, your partner, and said Lisa's with her, Genevieve's having a seizure.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was not a seizure.
And many people on the call today have all seen her have seizures in front of us, and a lot of us thought they were real.
Mm.
What did she have anything to say about the money that she took?
Yes,
from you?
she wants
Or how
to.
she's
She
paying
wants.
for anything?
She said you
She
gave
said
her
she
a
was going to
year.
pay you back.
You gave her a year to pay you back. She will pay you back. She will make restitution for anything, all of the baby things and everything. She wants to make restitution for all of that.
But where does she get her money from? This is what I
Yeah,
don't
we
understand.
asked her who that man was, and she said he's a family member that pays her because of the abuse that she suffered.
That was a lie as well.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, she kept lying.
She agreed that didn't happen with her father and all that. That it was something with the brother and
But it wasn't even the brother. Then it was the brother. Like what she said with the brother was ridiculous, right? And then it was like two kids talking about sex or something, right? And I said, but that's people are traumatized far worse than that. And she said, oh well, there was my father's best friend. Then he took me to a field and he told me to touch his thing and he named it Percy, and she just.
Yeah.
And I said, but a lot of people are abused. That doesn't mean they turn into, pathological liars.
That's right.
And they a lot of people go through way worse than that. And she, I know, she said, I know. But I don't know why. I don't know why I lie like this, but that's when I lie. I can't stop lying. I need help.
But that's the thing. She didn't stop lying, and we kept asking her for her fact, who she was, where she came from, and she still lied. And she gave us, I think, maybe 3 or 4 different stories in the time we were talking to her. So I don't think she knows how to not lie. I don't think she knows how. I really don't.
And remember, she said almost right from the beginning when she admitted everything was a lie, and then she goes, I really feel bad about it. It's not like I'm going to get off of here and start grinning.
Oh yeah, grinning.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
really weird. That gave me
That's an
the
odd
chills,
thing to say. That's an odd thing to say, yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Which means
Yeah.
that's exactly what she did do.
Exactly.
That's what I
Well, that's
thought.
what I was saying. Like when she would say to me, "Well, didn't we get on fabulously, Carolyn? And it just flowed." I think she was like grinning that I could fake this relationship with you.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, because she knew I can't fake a hello to someone I don't like. She knew
I
that.
hate to say it, but it's almost like the way Chris Watts lied.
Hmm.
The way.
Yeah.
You know what I
She learned
mean?
from the best then.
Yeah, and then maybe that's why she was so interested in his case and everything about it. And
Very strange. But I'm sure she did get off and grin. I'm sure she did. Because
Oh,
why would she
I'm
say
sure.
that?
And you know what I said
She
to
would-
her? I said, "Why aren't you scared now?" Because she claimed that someone here called the police on her and that said all this stuff. And she called me hyperventilating, telling me the police were in her house. And I said, "Why are you worried about this? Why? We did nothing wrong. You had a baby and we bought you gifts." And I said, "You were worried then. And I couldn't understand why, because everything we did was on the up and up and I have records for everything. But now that you're exposed and what you did is criminal, okay? And what you did to Sean
That's
is
right.
criminal, you're not at all worried. You're not worried of going to prison." I said, "This is crazy, Jay. This is crazy." And she said, "Well, I don't want to go to prison." What was she saying, Scooter? She wasn't at all upset, right? Or thinking that this was even something she had to worry about.
You know why? Maybe
No.
in the past she's done this with other people and they've tried to get her.
She does not seem upset.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
She
No.
said, "Oh, Sean gave me a year to pay her back.
And-
She won't do
But
anything
you-
until a year goes by that I don't pay her back."
What?
She said, "Sean won't do anything for a year." And I said, "You knew what was going." She said, "Oh, I knew Sean was going to tell you guys." Because Lisa said, I think, "Why didn't you tell us? How come you didn't listen to Sean's letter? You didn't tell anyone." And she said, "Well," what'd she say, Lisa? What? Why didn't she tell anybody? Do you
No,
remember?
she said she was going to. She said she was going to tell everybody, but she just hadn't been. She hadn't done it yet. She was building up to it, and I said, "No, you had. No, there was. Or it was never the opportunity." And I said, "You had plenty of opportunity to tell us." In fact, she had told more lies in the time that she told Sean she was going to tell us. She'd actually lied more. So that.
I gave her a
know you-
week. I gave her a week to tell people.
Right, and then
Yeah.
then she said she
And
told
at
one
that
of the
point, I
ladies.
was trying to find you.
Remember, she said she told Stephanie, and we said no. Stephanie was on tonight, and you didn't tell her. Remember that, Lisa?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she
Yeah.
didn't think that Stephanie was on there. She didn't know who was on.
No.
And she asked, "Is Sean going to be here?" And I said, "No, Sean left." And she said, "Well, will Sean see this?" Because we recorded it.
Yeah.
We recorded it, so it's on the cloud, wherever that
I would like to see it.
Zoom. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you have
Yeah.
that Zoom, if you look in your
Oh,
cloud,
okay. Thank you. I
Okay.
wondered about that. Yeah.
yeah, and if you
Okay.
yeah. So she said, "Well, I want her to see this because I have things to say to her."
Nothing that she can. I just have nothing to hear
Unbelievable.
from her. Nothing. I never want to
Sean
hear from her.
or Lisa,
See her or think about her again.
Lisa, Loopy Lisa,
Yes.
did you get the weird feeling about the way she was looking down the whole time?
Yes.
And when she would
Yes.
look up, her eyes had like a weird, almost like, I don't know, her eyes, they creeped me out.
Glazed. They was, yeah.
She did not look
yeah.
like herself, like the
no.
person she presented.
No,
It's
and she
herself.
wasn't, and she was pretending to cry. She wasn't
Yeah.
crying, and she was there were no tears there. There was nothing.
Only at the
until-
end, I think she was
I was gonna
squeezing.
say, yeah, at the very
squeezing,
end. But then I
squeezing.
think that was because she'd been caught and she started to feel sorry for herself. I
Yeah,
don't
'cause
think
she
she
said,
was
"You
sorry
guys are
for
never
anyone
going to talk to me again."
yeah, it was all to do with her and how she was
Yeah.
feeling
She lost
about
everything.
herself.
She
Not
has
about-
nothing
yeah,
now.
not-
Who would do
yeah,
this?
not about anyone else.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And we said, "You'll start again with other people." "No, I won't. I can't do this anymore. I can't. There's something wrong with me."
No, she said she would though if she didn't get help. she's asking for help. And she wanted Loopy Lisa, to give her that number that she had from before. So she could call her, you know, Monday morning to get help.
Yeah. I said no. I don't.
I'll get some help now, and it'll be all right.
Yeah.
You know, wrap it up in a nice little package, and everything will be
she
fine
said
again.
this. You know what she said? She
Really?
said she will record her hospital therapy sessions, and that should make everyone feel like that she's really going to this. And I said, you could get therapy all you want. That doesn't mean you're going to change your ways. What's the recording going to mean? You could go there and still do your own thing. She said, no, I will record it. I will record the sessions.
She did. She did. As if that was...
Didn't I say something like, yeah, but you could be lying then. Well, no, I won't be. No, I know. It's gonna be hard, you know, to believe, but I will. I'll record it, and, you know, you can tell if I'm lying or... It's like, what?
Yeah. And I said, how are you going to pay for this apartment? How are you going to pay for this apartment? And she said, well... I moved some stuff around or something, so I had this month, but I'm going to have to get a job because I don't know what I'm going to do for next month.
Sunflower Brown, you're right. She didn't give her the number. Loopy Lisa's on the line right now. She told her, no, I'm done. I'm not doing that.
No. No. I'm not wasting any more of my time on
That's right.
That's what we told her, because we're on there, and I said, look, I'm not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do this. You're not telling the truth. You're not doing anything. You won't even give us your name. And that's when the last minute she goes, fine, I was born in Leeds.
Yeah. As she said, I mean, she told us what? Palestine. She told me Palestine. She told you Michigan. She told somebody else New York. I mean, it turns out it was Leeds of all the places.
And remember when you said, well, no, you said it was somewhere in Israel or something like that. And she's like, yes, because that's a little town that's right there in Israel. And
And yes. And then it turned, but that was all a lie too. She was, that's what I mean. It was just
right. And then she wasn't an Orthodox Jew, because she goes, I said, why were you wearing the jeans? Okay, because first I thought she was going to try to tell me she was transgender or something, and she was born a boy, because that's how she started this off. And I said, were you born a boy? And she goes, no. What? And I said, well, what is with the jeans? I know Orthodox Jews do not allow their girls to wear jeans. And first she told me when she was here, and I said that was her father because he was essaying her. We use that for that abuse, that kind of abuse here on YouTube. We have to say essay. But she said it was a bribe. And then he would bring her around, and they would go in these Orthodox rings, and they would parade the kids around, and she would always protect her twin sister. And she was scared of the dentist because she was essayed in a dental chair by her father's Hasidic dentist. And the things she told me were, just crazy. And I said, well, why don't you write a book about that? Because there was a woman that came out with that exact same story. And she said, I said, she's not worried about her life. Why are you worried about your life? Who's going to get you? My uncle. My uncle is going to get me.
She told me that too.
So I said, well, how come this woman is exposing it and she's not worried about it? But she would never, and I even said to her one day, I said, by you being silent, how many more children are being abused? You're being silent because you're scared. If you really want to do something and this really happened, why aren't you blowing the whistle on it? And she got upset with that. She never got aggressive with me, but she got upset to the point oh, well, you don't understand, and it's not that easy, and my uncle, but I'll think about it, just the whole thing. She was always so secretive when she had to be secretive and find out it's nothing. It's all fake. And who said she was genetically engineered? She told you that, Sean? She was genetically engineered?
Yeah, that she was purposely designed to become this super clever person who was also super fertile. I mean, I'm very embarrassed to admit that I swallowed it. I did look up when genetic engineering started, and it did seem a bit far-fetched because I don't think they could clone very much in 1986. But
Oh, she said,
when you say it out
Oh,
loud,
Penny
it just
Miller.
sounds so ridiculous, but it was so convincing.
But
Sean,
we all feel like that, Sean. We all feel like that. We all feel, how on earth did we get taken? But we all have been. We all have been. So, yeah.
Sean, everybody's wanting to know, since we don't know her real name and she's given us like 3 different names, how did she enroll in the university without her real name?
Well, that's why I suspect that Jane Gwynn is her real name.
Jamie Gwynn.
Because that was what she had on her degree
She-
certificate.
she
from
gave
the
us a new
University of
name.
Huddersfield.
Yeah, she gave us a
She
new
gave
name.
us a new name tonight.
Yeah,
Tamara
Tammy, was it?
Dombrowska.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but she said the Dombrowska
Say
name
that
is
again?
Tamra Dombrowska.
Tamara.
No, Tamra. Tamera.
Yeah, Tamara. Tammy for short.
Tammy.
She told me he had a sister, a young baby sister called that, who died in prison, I
Oh,
thought.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
wrote down
died.
a couple of other.
She told me that Dombrowski
Yeah,
name is
Dombrowski.
weird because if you're a male, your last name is Dombrowski, but if you're a female, your name is Dombrowska.
Yeah, Nebraska. And then she said, what was the sisters?
Oh,
She has
Isabella.
a sister Kaylee, a sister
Kaylee, and I said
Victoria.
Kaylee is not a Hasidics wouldn't name their child Kaylee, and
yeah,
she's-
but then it turned out that her mother and father were called David and Lorraine.
yeah,
So,
David and
you know,
Lorraine.
that's not particularly.
I thought her mother was called Hadath, which I thought was a fine Jewish name. So I was like,
No, and then she
Yeah.
said, would she say Etan?
Yes,
Etan,
yes.
Etan. And
Yeah.
I said, why'd you call him Etan? Oh, that's what I call them. But my father's name was David, and my mother's name was Lorraine. And I said, Lorraine was the name that was on your letter. And she goes,
Lorraine?
yes. She
Lorraine
goes,
was the police officer I
Yes.
first dealt with.
and she goes, yes, they were on the letter. I had to tell the truth to them. So now she's saying Lorraine on the letter. is her
Lorraine
mother.
died as well, by the way.
Oh my God.
But I was looking up that name and I
Classic.
couldn't get anything to come up.
Nope.
That Dabrowski and
Yeah,
Dabrowska. Oh, and then she told us at the end when she was telling the truth that her father, there was something said about him being bipolar.
Polar, and he would disappear for, just
Oh,
he would
that's
go
right.
away and nobody
Yeah.
would know where he
Yeah.
went, but he was bipolar and he would just go away. And she
And
doesn't
that's
know
what
where he is.
traumatized her. That traumatized her, apparently.
And she thinks that's how she started lying, because she was traumatized.
Yeah.
Flighter Mouse says she told me her sister's name was Jennifer.
Oh.
And then she said, I said, were you a twin? Yes. And I said, but you told Lisa, your sister, you had one sister and she was 2 years
Yeah.
younger than you. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's a lie. I had an older brother, an older sister, a twin sister, and a little sister.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, no. No, I just had the younger sister, and her father shot her mother and her younger sister and then shot himself. That was
Right,
what.
that's
and
the story I heard,
and
except the sister was a twin.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't have the sister as a twin. She was younger. But I did actually say to her, I said, at the time, I said, so why did he spare you? If you were there, why did he not
That is a
shoot
good question.
you? Yeah, and she said it was because he wanted to punish her more, because that she would have to live with the fact that her whole family had died and she'd seen her whole family die, and that would be more of a punishment
And
to
she
her.
told me he thought he smothered them. At that time, he didn't shoot them, and he smothered them, and she pretended she was dead.
Sean did see her passport, didn't you, Sean?
Yeah, well, 2 passports, a British one and an American one.
I'm
And she
gonna
went to
go
show us
and
that. She showed us her
listen
ID.
Okay. All right.
in my bed because I'm kind of
All
like
right.
really tired, but I'm gonna listen.
Okay.
I'm
And
gonna get
then,
off, but listen on YouTube, okay?
okay,
I'm
I
not-
asked if
Be
she
well,
had
everyone.
one kidney.
Bye.
How'd she lose the kidney? Because she told me she lost the kidney because a shot ricocheted off of it when the father killed them. Though she said the father, it didn't make sense because the father supposedly strangled them, choked the mother. He smothered the little sister. He supposedly smothered her. and then he shot himself, but the bullet somehow ricocheted and nicked her kidney, and she had to lose that kidney. Now tonight she said she was born without a kidney. She was born without a kidney, only with one kidney.
And and then she went to show about having the baby.
Oh, she showed a stretch mark. Yeah. She said she had a baby because she pulled up her shirt and said, "I have stretch marks."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
remember, she was going to show us the wristband, because I asked her to show us that.
Yeah, because I said, you lied about AJ, and then you went and you told me that you had his ashes and that you were taking things I sent you and you were putting them around a little box and talking to him. And I said, you were almost like mocking me with my son's urn or trying to connect with me. I don't know what you were doing. And she goes, no, I do. And Lisa said, yeah, you said you had a box of ashes for the baby, an urn above your, your armoire. And she said, well, I do, but it's a keepsake box. It's not ashes, and it's not from AJ. It's from my other baby.
Oh,
so we said, well, where is it? Listen to this. We said,
her phone like
go
this
get
and
it.
was showing.
Well, she was showing her shed filled with boxes. So she goes, I have it. It's a keepsake box. I said, what is in it? She goes, the hospital bracelet. And that's the box I'm talking about. Well, she's lying right there because she's telling me she has it there inside and she's playing with it with the little things around it. Now she says it's in this outhouse that she has, which is a shed outside. And I said, wow. She goes, well, let me go take a picture. So she takes a picture of these boxes, floor to ceiling in there. And I said, that's where you have your baby's keepsake? You didn't keep it with you. You don't bring it in the house. It's not there. It's somewhere buried in there and you don't even know where. That doesn't sound right. And I said, this is lies. It's all lies.
At one point, she said she had 15 pregnancies.
Yeah, I said, Sean says you have like 15. Yes, I said, wow, well, you're at 34 years old now. You must have started very, very young, have all those children. And I said, and you said the best years of your life is when you were getting your bachelor's degree. So, that was 4 years that you apparently weren't having children during that time, or what's going on?
She told us she was 40, didn't she? We were all under the impression that she was 40.
She was 40.
So...
Right, her biological clock is running out, and she had the cancer, and she never had a baby, and and we told her, you don't think you should ever have. She said, I don't think I should have a baby either. I said, I don't even think you should have your dog.
Yeah.
That poor dog.
But for the most part, she was cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah. The Scooter thought she was going to come on it and point fingers, but she didn't. She was. I said, I think she's going to be very cool, and she was.
Did I say she was going to come on and point fingers?
Didn't she say that, Lisa, that she was going to start saying, you told me this, and was trying to pit us all against each other?
Well, I said with you and Lisa probably, because you guys are closer to her.
Uh-huh.
And the way she would like to triangulate, or however you say that.
Yeah, but she didn't do any of that.
No, she didn't.
Didn't do any of that.
No. I think she realised she had no way of getting out of it. I think she realised that there was absolutely no way out. She was in too deep. Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, it's, and I said, the ball's rolling. I said, there's so many people you wronged, and there's so many more. What do you think? You're just going to get away with this, that nobody's going to do it? The people have already filed stuff. And I said, I don't understand how you're not scared. This is what I said to her. You were scared so many freaking times when there was like nothing to be scared of. You were petrified. And now you've got something to be afraid of, and you could care less.
Yeah.
Amber Ella says she might like getting caught, and I kind of think she did.
Yeah, because it's all about her then again, isn't it? Everything's on her. She's probably watching this now. I'm sure she's watching this now. Yeah.
Lisa, you said to her, I think you're enjoying this.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
And I think she was.
Yeah.
Weeping Lizard, I asked her that. I said, are you the one that wrote the email about me being in cahoots or whatever with Rabid Dog? And she said, oh, no, I don't do anything like that on YouTube. I don't do any of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
but she's willing to use a voice changer to pretend to be doctors and nurse. Why would she be any different with anything else? She's just
wondering.
deceitful. She's just deceitful in every way. So I don't think there's any morals about anything.
When she was trying to get Carolyn to turn against me, she had asked her very recently
can you trust Scooter?
if I could be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that thing with rabid dog comes up.
Yeah. And the other
thing, she's done the same with other friends of ours, hasn't she? She's manipulated, pushed away. She's been in control really of who she wants who to be around, basically.
Right. I think she's been telling people a lot of things. And Sean, you said your brother suspected her of something. What did he?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that. Yeah, he, along with my sister, had been very concerned about my relationship with Jay for a very long time. And he found some emails on my parents' computer because he helps manage they're very elderly, and he helps manage their computer. And so one day I was in a work meeting and I got a call from the police saying that some fraud had been reported, that my brother had reported Genevieve for fraud. And I was just like, oh my God, this is terrible. Now bad people are going to find her. And so I spoke to the policeman and said, no, there's no fraud. And, I give Genevieve a little bit of money every month for rent because I stay in her house when I go to London every week. And so they just closed the file at that point. So I wrote immediately to the person I thought was the policeman, Richard Allen, saying, I've got the police on the phone. I'm really, really scared that something, that now Genevieve will be found. But, I'll make it go away. And the police officer was like, yes, please do make it go away. I have to say, I was a bit, I did think to myself, why didn't he already know about this? Given that he was constantly supposedly monitoring all of her email and kind of internet and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, a couple of nights later, apparently bad men broke into her house and raped her violently. I don't even want to say what she said happened. And then again, the next night, same thing happened. And I think that was her way of punishing me for my brother having done this. And to make it very clear, that this was nothing to mess with, and it was very dangerous. And that was another reason why I was very kind of scared to take anything further with the police. But I've done that now. I filed a report.
Yeah, and what was I going to say about that? So, was she very scared when your brother did that? Did she act really scared that he did that?
Very scared.
Yeah.
Well, I told Richard Allen not to tell her, but he then sent her an email. And she got very freaked out and very angry at my family and saying, I needed to cut off all contact with her because, my family hate her so much. And I was just like, no, I'll never leave you. You're my sister. They just made a mistake.
Yeah. And,
but yeah, she was very terrified.
You felt such a loyalty.
But telling me she was scared because she would be found.
Right, yeah, she would always be found, I know, by the people.
By bad people.
Yeah.
I think you wanted to show her, that you would always be there for her no matter what, like an unconditional type love, maybe.
Yeah, I constantly said that to her, but I'll never leave. There's nothing that will make me leave. Well, except I said, unless you're lying to me. That's the one thing, but otherwise, no, of course, I'll stick with you to the end.
And she said how you gave her a second chance. She brought that up on her own.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. Total fool.
And I mean, when she came on here, like she did things.
She's just such a good, accomplished liar.
Oh, she agreed.
Just so accomplished.
She agreed that she did prove that Dr. Russo thing that she said was a mistake to show that was her husband, Dr. Alessandro Russo, when she came on that one time. That was all done purposely. She admitted that.
Sean, do you think there's any way that she's a
Just
quote unquote kept woman? Because that's what I've been wondering.
I don't. Who knows? Who knows? I literally have no idea. But she has not worked in the whole time that I've known her.
I mean, she is young and she's attractive and
Not.
I don't know. I mean, she
that
went on
happens
with
all
this.
the time.
I also said to her, did you make a big deal about getting your period? You don't believe you got it. And I think you did that to set a pregnancy timeline. And she said, no. And I said, why would you tell Sean and Lisa that you had this huge accident all over I said, that's a lie. Oh, and she tried to lie her way out of that. This crazy thing that she tried to say that she was using tissues and maybe they fell somewhere and I had rubber gloves on. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, just nuts, absolutely nuts. And I said, I don't think you ever had it. I think you wanted to establish a timeline for the pregnancy that you were writing into this story when you got back there. And then the colleague that she said, he was a bartender, right? Is that what he was? She said it was her colleague from Ireland that she was the father of the baby, the new baby. And with me, she got it the pregnancy all the way to 15 weeks, had an ultrasound, saw the baby, but didn't want a picture because everything always goes wrong. And then she said she had a miscarriage, but she called Loopy Lisa and her partner that they had to come down and support her because she had to get an abortion.
Yeah.
well, she said she will. Bella Mac. She said she never, ever will leave any tissue paper or anything like that of hers in someone else's home.
I said, you didn't have your period
takes
because
it
the
with her.
bathroom garbage was empty. And she goes, oh, I will never leave anything. I put it in a bag and I keep it in my luggage and I throw it out at the airport. I'm very, very much like that. But meanwhile, then she said she's talking to Sean all about the details of this. But she's then saying she's so private she can't even talk about this or ask for any supplies. And I said, well, you asked me the first time and I gave it to you. Why wouldn't you ask me again? You're not making any sense. You know, she didn't make any sense. She said she saw me with rubber gloves. I said I was doing the dishes. How would you equate that to that I'm looking for paper that you're leaving around? Mm-hmm. And I said, and if you lost paper, wouldn't you be looking for it? You know, I mean, she was just lying all over the place.
Can we add Bella to the WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Is that the person that I know of as Claire?
Yeah, Claire.
Yes. Yeah.
She told me she knew Claire from our university, that she had done some degree around there, I think.
I asked her why. I said, why did you tell Sean that you knew Claire from somewhere else and not through here? And she goes, oh, you remember what she said, Lisa? Just not much, just like, she didn't really give us an explanation.
She blustered. And I think she actually started talking about something else and not actually answering that question. So no, I don't know.
Right.
Well, she says, she wanted help and she said she wants to be admitted somewhere.
Yeah,
so that they
she wants to
can
go in somewhere.
Does this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I knew the no nappies or anything. The baby wasn't right.
I mean, I think that anyone who does this is mentally unwell, but it doesn't take away from the criminality of it all.
No, it doesn't.
And she knows that she's being lying. I mean, she knows it.
Yeah, but
she has so many opportunities to tell me.
Yeah.
She never did.
Yeah, Augie, we were at the other house, though, which is very lucky because of the snowstorm. We were not able to come up to this house where she could have done some digging or whatever. That house is very sterile almost, where it's like it doesn't have a lot of personal information at all of anyone there because it's kept like that. So the room that she was in had zero personal anything. It was set up as much as like an Airbnb, even though we don't use it as that, but that's how it was set up. So yeah, she wasn't going to find any digging or, you know, have any good stuff like that, or got into any jewelry boxes or anything. Thankfully, you know.
So weird though how she talked about exactly how you were picking up the bins and dumping them out.
Yeah, she
and
said
you
things
were
I would
wearing
I would
rubber
never touch the
gloves
garbage.
and-
See, she didn't realize that. She said that I was emptying all the garbage. That's not me. I'm not emptying garbage. Jimmy does that. So I said, no, you're lying. And I said, do you think? She goes, well, I thought maybe the tissue fell out somewhere. And I said, oh, really? Then wouldn't you be looking for it when you went to the bathroom thinking, oh my gosh, where did the tissue fall out? She goes, well, I did, but I didn't know maybe it fell in the toilet. Well, wouldn't you see it then? Right? I mean, she was not making any sense. And she had enough supplies, so she's lying. She's lying. And she said, well, yeah, I mean, there were so many lies. And she told you guys that she had an accident all over the couch, right? And that's not true.
Yes, she did, yeah.
That
yeah.
is not true. That's why I didn't suspect she even had anything. I think she did it to establish a timeline. Exactly what she did.
No, that's not it. No.
Because when she told me she was pregnant, she said, remember, I had my period then, and then I came back, and I had this fling with this guy, and I never got my period again. And I said, and why would you not have your period regularly? Because you told me this was because you were getting the chemo and the radiation and all of this stuff, but that wasn't true. So you would have had your period as a regular basis. You would know. It wouldn't be a shock. And she said, I don't even know what she said at that point.
Carolyn, how long did she stay with you for?
2 weeks.
So did she say anything about the fact, because she's supposed to have treatment all the time? So
yeah, but they gave her a break. Don't you remember? They gave her a month break.
Do you see that again? That
before she had to go for the next.
Yeah, that's what I was told. Had really intensive treatment just before she left for New York to make sure that it really busted this tumor, and then that she would be able to have time off from it.
And I said, why did
up
you
until
get
that point, I was under the impression that she was having treatment every week.
Right. And then I said, well, then how come you had that debilitating pain? Because like she was sitting like this, like when you have such a migraine. She goes, because I had such a migraine and nothing would take the edge off. And I said, well, I was going to take you to the hospital because I thought you had cancer pain, and this local hospital will give you morphine. They would. And she goes, yeah. And I said, but then I remember that there was Jimmy and I don't take it. Jimmy had shoulder surgery and we had some tramadol, and you gladly took that, and it knocked you right out, and you took it back with you because you said you don't get, painkillers like that in the UK, and you had this tremendous pain. And she said, yes.
When we went to Cornwall, just before we went to Cornwall, she was adamant that we would be no further than a certain distance from a hospital, because she said she would need to get treatment and all the rest of it. And we were like, absolutely fine. Looked at places so that we were quite close if we needed to get to the hospital for her to have her treatment. I said, that's absolutely fine. I can drive you. I can take you. And then literally about 2 days before we went, she said, I've got some amazing news. I'm having a treatment holiday. We're not going to have to go to the hospital. We're not going to have to do anything. We can just forget about it. I'm having a treatment holiday and it's all brilliant. Isn't that a coincidence? Isn't that brilliant? And of course, we were like, well, yeah, of course, that's fine. That's brilliant. That's amazing. That's how wonderful that you can now just enjoy yourself and not have to worry about going to the hospital. I mean, I don't know. It just seems insane now, doesn't it? It does.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
so many days, she told me all about the hospital. I don't know. So many times rushed to the stroke unit. She's saying, I don't understand. She was giving me the initials for the stroke unit. I don't understand why I'm in the ambulance being rushed to the stroke unit. But she had a monitor, she said, that monitored her blood pressure. And they saw that her blood pressure went so high, so dangerously high. And they thought she had a massive stroke. But then she was out the next day. She would be out the next day. Back at home.
The story there was that the police, that she had actually been kidnapped from the hospital once, And so hospitals were a very traumatic place for her. And so we had to get her home.
Oh, that's
quickly.
right.
my
And
God.
then we would
I
arrange
remember
for
saying
nurses and so on.
Oh, I never heard
Yeah.
that. She never told me that.
No, Sean, I think, Sean, that was when you and I spoke, I think, that you mentioned that.
Oh my gosh, she never told me that. Never.
She had this long scar down her arm. And I thought that had been caused by a time when she was kidnapped from the hospital when she was going in for some surgery up north. And then the police ran around trying to find her, and they found her naked in a field, having been again. I mean, this woman was raped nearly every week, as far as I could tell. And she was found in a really bad way. She had a very damaged arm. And so she went into like a 12-hour surgery. And that's what that scar was explained as. But God only knows.
I'm sure she said different.
But
I'm
it
sure she
certainly
said
wasn't.
different to Carolyn. I'm sure.
I never
didn't
saw
she
the
explain-
scar because when she came to me, she always had long sleeves. It was freezing. Never saw a scar. Never saw a scar. She was in the hospital all the time, but then she had that friend that was giving the blow by blow. Then she said she had that dog walker friend, teaching assistant, who was indebted to her because she was paying for her PhD degree, which she took your roles and reversed them, and said that I don't know what to tell her. I'm pregnant. This is the dog walker. I don't want to upset her. And then Jaybells calls me crying that the dog walker / TA, student doesn't want to see her anymore and doesn't want her as her supervisor, and she doesn't know why. So then I have to write a letter to Beatrice, the student, and say she's so upset, what happened? And then she writes me back a glowing letter saying, no, she's got it all wrong, and gives her this big thing. And I send that along to Jaybells, and Jaybells says, oh my gosh, I should doubt that I taught her. She's such a great person. Look how intuitive she is, and that's all what I taught her. I should listen to myself.
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy, but it was probably when she was going through things with you, and she would materialize, project it onto something else that was bothering her. And
Can I just say something as well?
Mm-hmm.
She was very particular. I don't know if this rings a bell with either of you, but she was very particular about wearing T-shirts and shirts that weren't too low, because she said that she had scars all over her chest from where she was slashed by her father.
But she doesn't.
No, she never told me that.
Yeah, she doesn't. I can.
Yeah, but she was very particular about that. Said I
But
couldn't
I was
do
told
it.
that as well, so I was always looking for scars.
Yeah.
Right. And then I said, how come you said you had a romantic relationship with Sean? And she said, well, because I thought it was, right? What did she say? I thought it was because when she would come, we would stay in the same bed. And then who said, Scooter? Somebody said, you said it, Lisa, that you've had friends come and you stay in the same bed.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have a romantic relationship. And you don't.
Exactly.
And she said, well,
I mean, there was only one bed. It was a large bed, and I used to just crash out.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I've done exactly the same. I think we all have. We've all had girlfriends over that, that we've just gone, just jump into bed. It happens, of course.
Yeah. I thought, she's, supposed to be like my sister, so there's just, it's not weird.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Well, she knows people's weak spots and when they're loving and caring, and she knows how to work that. She's an expert at this.
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
Yeah, because the first thing Bella Max said to me, oh, let me guess, what did she tell them I was her, lover too? She's like, I don't know what she tells anybody, it's just crazy.
I think she's just telling everybody very different things to what I'd love to know what she said about me to different people. I'd love that. I'd love to know.
Do you know what I mean, Lisa? She was not one bit embarrassed, was she?
No, she was not.
At all about being caught at all.
I didn't get that. I would have been absolutely, I wouldn't have done it in the first place, but I would have been absolutely mortified and
Carolyn
embarrassed.
told her. Yeah, Carolyn told her she's going to tell the Ramblers.
I said, I'm going to tell them because I cannot turn a blind eye. If you want me to think I'm going to turn a blind eye, I am not.
She had no fear about Carolyn telling the Ramblers.
Because I said, who knows who you've been in contact with? Maybe you're in contact with someone that you're extorting money from. How are they going to know? I have to come forward and tell what I know about you. And she said, oh, I'm not doing that, but I understand. Or something. She wasn't upset. She didn't say, don't tell the Ramblers.
Yeah, she says, I know you have to. And she just, you go, and this is all going to come back on me. And she's like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And didn't she say we were all going to be ruined or something?
Oh, what?
I'm not sure.
Like I don't know. She said something. And I said, you're just going to, stop people from caring about somebody that needs help one day because they're looking at you as a scammer. And then, and I said, and she just said, well, I hope you don't stop helping people because you're good at it.
They want to know, Sassy Darcy wants to know, what are you going to tell your boys?
They know. They already know.
How are they? How did they take it?
They just said, how is she this person? She was in our house. She's really a bad person. Like, she did this. And, why? Why would she do this? Why would she pretend she had cancer? Why would she pretend she was dying? Why? They were close to her. I mean, it's just horrible.
Do you know what the worst thing about all of this is that I feel like, and I'm sure you guys feel the same, I feel like it's changed me as a person. I feel I've lost that little bit of innocence and naivety. I don't know. I was saying this to you last night. I feel like I'm going to have to change who I am because of her. Because I can't, how can I just trust? I've always been trusting. I've always wanted to trust people. And now I can't do it. It's impossible. I will never trust anyone after this. I don't think I will. And I think that's really sad that's changed me as a person. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for you lot as well. It's made us a little different to what we were before. And that's a shame.
Yeah, it's just that you couldn't find a shred of evidence. I would never trust a person I can't find a shred of evidence of their life.
Yeah.
With everyone else, I know their life. I know who they are. I didn't see their family. With her, there was no shred of evidence.
No.
None.
No, she didn't have a husband and be
What did you say?
I was telling Potter.
I just felt so impolite.
To ask her, right, to just trust her because she was saying she went through these horrific things and, it was so horrible. And she would always say, I'll tell you when we're in person. I don't want to tell you on the phone. And I kept thinking, what if she died? Because she was gravely ill, right? What if she died and I didn't even know anything about this? And I would think about that all the time. Like, she would say the doctor said to get her affairs in order and all of this stuff. And I thought, well, how will I know what to do? Because we don't even talk about this, like nothing. And I just kept thinking, like, what's going to happen? And when Sean contacted me, I thought she was calling me to tell me she died.
Yeah, you said that.
That's exactly what I thought she was calling me about. And I thought, oh gosh, she's dead or she's near death in the hospital. And here's the call. And she never talked with me about anything she wanted. I hope a lawyer somewhere has this because I don't know what she wants.
Several want to know if you think she's behind any of the swatting or any of the letters that you've received.
No, I asked her about the letter that I received that came from a UK address because she was looking at it and telling about the racehorses in the car windscreens, and she says, "Oh no, absolutely not, absolutely not."
Yeah, but what do you believe? Do you believe that?
The SWAT, I believe she isn't because I know and that it's not who you think it is with 3 initials. It's someone far more sinister that's involved in that. But the email she may have been, yeah. Yes. Because she told me somebody was harassing her with her work email, and she said there's only 2 people that have her work email. Of course, there was no freaking work email, okay?
Exactly.
But she said only 2 people have it, and there was a person calling her the C word and telling her to die and this and that, and it was a person she was trying to triangulate us from.
Yeah.
Tracy Kloss, yes, the professor was her medical, the same as Carolyn, right?
Yeah,
You guys
we were both her
both-
medical proxy. We were both her next of kin. We were both her family, her sisters. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Newbie, she has a lot of articles that I saw when I looked Sean up. Carolina wants to know if you have a picture to show of her.
Of who?
Of Jaybell?
Of Jaybell. The thing is, when she comes on your panel, Carolyn, she doesn't really show her face, does she?
Mm-mm.
She was very careful about that, about not showing her face, really.
There's I can show you the old MySpace that she had. Here. Public knowledge. Okay, here. And guess what? I said, how come there were so many like gangster people on your mind? This is her. Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very made up here. Here's her non-scarred breasts. But that, yeah. And she said the reason there were so many gangsters on her page and all of this stuff is because of this jacket said Roca wear. And that's why. That's what she told me.
I've got a picture of her and me if you'd like to see it.
Sure.
Am I able to share?
Yeah.
No.
Uh-huh. Let me I make you a co-host and then you can share. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, now you should be able to share.
Okay. Here we go. There she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I have pictures of her too. I mean, here's one. She made a card when we went to the resort that she never really went to with the boys. It's just crazy. I have pictures with Lisa D and I when we went to Ollie's. And Carolyn, I don't see her in your lake house. I just thought she would. Carolyn, I didn't see her in your lake house. I just thought she was shy and humble. No, she was at the lake house.
Sad soul, what's going on is that Jaybell lied about who she is. She's not who she is. We don't know who she really is. She's duped a lot of people. All nice, kind people.
Yeah.
Took money from them. I guess she didn't really ask for money, but everything she explained.
Never asked for money.
Yeah.
Never.
Humpty Dumpty,
She would
who
just
are you
set it
talking
up
about?
so that you would feel like you had to offer.
Who are you talking about, Humpty Dumpty? I saw her in some drama channel and she was talking about MRB, and I still said to her, what's that about? Who's that? Jaybells never did that. She never did that. I don't think that's who you're talking about. She was very careful.
Lisa D. Potter. There's a different Lisa on panel right now. Lisa Pierce.
That's Loopy
Yeah.
Lisa.
Loopy Lisa. Yes, Jaybell, that's all.
Oh, I put my real name up, haven't I?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I should have changed it really before I came on.
But she refuses to give her real name her parents' real name. She said she's not a criminal. She's never been arrested. She has a lying problem. It started when she said 7, and then she changed it and said she was about 4. I have noticed that Bobby Blue Eyes, that Carolyn and Sean do have the similar look, the same hair color. Both that, just, I thought that a while ago, a couple days ago.
Yes, Noopy, she was at the house right before that, yes. I mean, you filed the fraud alert. I mean, I'm going to let the FBI know today, have to file that, and I just don't understand how she's not scared. Like, I mean, she was scared over such silly things all the time. So, and be hyperventilating, but I'm sure it was just something else that she went with through you, like when she said she lost her job and she lost her funding, and then none of that was true. And then that happened. She said the family member that was giving her the money every month, he was something due to COVID, not laid off, but downside. I don't know what he lost about 80% or 60% of his salary, so that he had to cut her off, and she didn't know what she was going to do. And that's when she called me frantic, saying that she was laid off or that she lost her funding, and I guess she expected me to offer money, but why would I? She had 2 homes in Italy. At one time she told me she sold one of the homes in Italy for taxes and stuff, and that she would never sell the New York apartment, which was worth millions of dollars. She said she sold Alessandro's Mercedes for like $20,000 or $30,000, and so she never was destitute to me. So I would say, well, don't worry, something will open up. Can't you get unemployment in the meantime? Don't you have that there? Oh, yes, but it's only a little bit. But I have enough to get me by, I have to sell the one house in Italy. Yeah.
She was still talking to Chris Watts, though, wasn't she?
She right. Yeah,
she still had the funding for that, didn't she? Mm-hmm. Apparently.
Yeah, she never said like how she said she lost it and then it came back again. And she was talking to Chris all the time, and she was going into great details, but I couldn't tell anyone and could not use it on the
show. I was the only one that knew, apparently. Oh my gosh.
Humpty Dumpty swears it was her on a panel.
No,
never.
Never.
She couldn't believe it at the time.
Yeah, try to find it. Never. Yeah.
Who? Jaybell?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
But I don't think you have a good email address. I would like to introduce myself. Phoebe. Hi, Phoebe. The eyes are the window to the soul. Have you reported her to YouTube, Scooter? Well, YouTube doesn't do anything. It's not YouTube.
No.
She needs to be reported to the FBI, and Sean has reported her. Yeah. And there is someone else gathering information, so we'll see.
No, Potter, she said she was talking to the families, though, right, Carolyn?
Yeah, that she had to call the Rusacks, and I believe she told me she spoke to the Watts too, because they had to know she was speaking to Chris.
Yeah, she said that to me too.
Yeah. Yep. And she had several calls with the Rusacks, and then it was like a rude awakening when she found out I was talking to them, and she got very scared and said, well, you can't say anything to them because of the non-disclosure agreement. They will never say they know me.
Yes, guys, check out Professor Sian Hawthorne from University of London. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you. I feel very impressive.
Well, I was trying to read your articles and I couldn't. I'm like, whoa. I wish I could understand this.
This is a criminal case. She accepted. Yeah, and that's what, like, she would always say, well, I told you I would give all of that back. And then she says now she donated everything. And then there was a woman that was on and it said she did have the baby gifts collected and donated. And
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Oh, she told me she left them out on the street for people to take.
yeah, and I said, well, why would you do that and not sell them and give rest? Because she said she was doing it, I guess, to feel better. So I said, well, if you wanted to pay people back, then why wouldn't you have sold them, at least recoup some of the money to pay people back if that was the case? Why would you just give? Well, I just thought it was the right thing to do. And yet she claims that she had the crib and that the crib was set up, and she even tried to advertise it was free. This was a nice crib or cot, whatever you call it. It was a sleep, but and she said that she couldn't get any, no one wanted it, so she had to take it to her other house or something. But then she said she gave it to Freddie.
That was Freddie, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
she gave it to Freddie. Then, yeah. Yeah, all lies, Danielle, right? She told me she sold them and donated it to a homeless charity. Yeah,
You said
I
that.
know, Mona. But yeah, so I mean, it's horrible. I don't know what to do. I mean, we just have to report it and that's it. And if anyone here, if she contacted any of you and you have any information for me, if she was talking to you, if she was asking for money, if she was doing anything like that, please email me and let me know what it is so I can put it in the report. And it's terrible. It's
I think we'll find people. I think people will come forward.
yeah.
I think they will.
Can I show them this, Jess? She just sent me a picture, and she said this is what she sent me with the holes.
Who's that? Jess? Oh, Jess.
That's Jess.
Yeah, with the whole. Go ahead.
Oh wow.
It's bad. Is it gruesome?
Well, no, but it's just so strange. But wait.
I remember that.
I'll take a screenshot and cut the names. Okay, wait. Yeah, you can't.
Is this the woman that was on the phone with you crying after losing her husband in England?
Okay. Yeah, she said it's up to me.
Yes,
Okay.
Abba Zoe.
I'll just go there's no. Okay.
Thanks, Humpty.
Ah, darn it. Where'd it go? Here.
It's just so violating. It really is. It's so violating. Because we talked about it, about how, how lucky we were. Like what if she was some psycho, but we had known each other and we felt so at ease. And that's what she loved. She's like, oh, it was just so natural. Wasn't it so natural?
Yeah, she said that to me too.
Yeah, right? And that we were never worried that we're going to see somebody with a knife standing over our bed in the middle of the night. Is that what she said to you too, Lisa?
Oh no, she didn't say that to me.
Oh.
No, she just said that she said, oh, it's just so easy and we don't have to worry. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
She said all that.
Yep. Right? We're like sisters. It was just so easy.
Yeah.
We didn't have to do anything. We could just sit there and we enjoyed each other's company. It was so wonderful. No, Augie, this is some of the other people that were on the Zoom from the UK that they were students with her. Is that all those people were students with her?
A lot of them were actually lecturers.
They worked at an institution.
Oh, wait a minute. Listen to what she told me. When she came, I said, why did you decide to come in February? And she said, because she was a speaker at a conference that you set up for her in New York. And I said, oh, really? What conference? Well, I didn't speak at it. She said, I said, so you came all the way and that was why you came in February to speak at this conference, but then you didn't speak at it. No, that's what she said. That's why she picked February. And she ended up coming over with, I guess, that woman, Emily. And then she met another woman. She said she met her at the airport and the woman was driving up this way and she was trying to avoid her. So, and do we remember what her name was? Oh gosh, she said her name, but it's in that recording.
Was it Erin? Was
No,
there an
Erin was the one that she met in the city, but then there was another lady that she said she just randomly met at the airport who happened to be going to New York as well and coming up this way where I live and wanted to drive
sent you
her.
that picture on your email, your Gmail.
Oh, okay.
I know, Sassy Darcy. I even told Jaybells that tonight. As bad as I feel for Carolyn and Sean and Lisa and all the other people, I still felt as disgusted as I feel with her. I still feel sorry for her.
You've got, see, I don't know if I can do this. Hold on, because you've got numbers showing here on this.
Is there any? Okay, maybe I can mark those out.
Yeah, send it to me. See if you can back that out and send it to me again.
All right.
And then somebody says here, what's this? I was in shock and I wanted to give you. Okay.
I'm going to have to go now, I'm afraid.
Okay, yeah, we're going to go too.
But I'll be in touch on.
But I'll just post this picture. But yeah, please, we have that group. We'll be in
WhatsApp.
touch, and I will fill out my stuff all today.
Yeah. Sean, I'll speak to you soon.
But yeah, so sorry again for everything.
Lots of love to you all.
All
Lots
right.
of love to you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye, Sean.
Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. All right. Let's see. Did you send it? Show that, and then I'm gonna go to bed too, because we were on all freaking day with this. This is so tiring.
Yeah, that's why my camera's off. I'm actually in bed. I probably
it's
had
so
maybe 2 hours.
yeah, it's so freaking tiring and so much out of our
Yeah.
lives for her nonsense. That's what
Yeah.
I did. Just it's so aggravating. That's I said. That's what I said. I said you don't even care. You said you care that I lost my son, but I'm in mourning, and all you did was put more burden on me for you, and me thinking that you're in mourning too, and and you're possibly dying, and making me feel guilty, and you know that I'm mourning my son, and you still didn't let up on me. You still came at me. You needed this, you needed that, you needed this, you needed this attention, you needed that. I'd get off alive like this, and she'd be right there on the phone saying, I don't think I can do this. I don't want to live like this.
Yes.
And I'd have to be on with her. You don't have to call me. I don't want to bother you. And it was always, there was a guilt to it.
I'm going to have to go too.
Okay, Lisa.
Thank you so much, though,
Yeah.
for having me on. And Scoots and Carolyn, yeah, I'll speak to you later.
Here's the holes in her head. Let's see here.
I better go. We've got everything, all the information on our group. So
Yeah.
I'll speak to you soon. All right.
All right, there.
Take care. Take care. Bye.
So she had these holes right here. Which could have been an old picture, maybe from the first time, or I don't know. I mean, it could have been makeup, could have been a lot of things. I don't know. But all right. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Yeah, no one deserved this. She took advantage of a lot of people. There's a lot more people that she took advantage of. But, so, yeah, no, we have the facts, Lori Beth, you bet. All right, everybody, we're going to go because we're exhausted, but prayers for everyone that needs them, and we need prayers. So God bless. See you guys tomorrow, and take care. Don't let the bad people make you bitter. All right, bye-bye. Love you. God bless.